It's 6:33 and let's start the meeting on October 24th. Before I start the meeting, I'd like to make a few remarks. We'll have a public comment right at the start of the meeting. We'll be limited to 2 minutes, and then we'll start the agenda. And each agenda item, if you want to speak to the issue, the agenda item will be limited to 2 minutes. We have a lot of business tonight, and we have to proceed rapidly. The last meeting we were here way too late, so we want to proceed timely and at the same time respect your time and your opinion. So with that, start the meeting. The roll call. All the board members present. The meeting is being recorded by who?
Hi everybody, from Azteca 43 on the Digamos Style TV show, we're going to be taping if it's okay with everyone. If someone doesn't want to be taped, we will be happy to not have you on camera. And just for the record, by myself here, there's another gentleman that brought in his camera, I don't know who he's with, but we are like a community issues TV show that...
Are you here at someone's request? Or?
No, we are here because we know that this meeting is happening, and we just wanted to, since it's a community issue, we wanted to kind of be present. It's a general thing, you know, we'll go anywhere.
So if more than one person doesn't want to be recording, like myself, and there's a handful of people, does that stop your recording, or will it just focus?
If nobody wants to be recorded, we won't take. You know,
can we have a vote? I like that. That I don't want to be recorded. That's for sure. So I don't want to be recorded by social media. Show of hands. So thank you for coming tonight. We appreciate it. Sir,
you don't have a privilege. No, not members of the board. It's a public meeting. No.
Oh yeah, it's okay.
So you guys are here on a quest, a purpose. There's a reason for this.
Us as far as who do you mean?
I'm just asking. That's a question. I'm not pointing anything out of the question. If you can't answer the question, or you want to answer one with one, then we're not going to get anywhere.
So,
all right? You're questioning after a question. Of course, I don't want to hear you talking. I'd like an answer, not another question from a question.
Okay, so gentleman Azteca said if you don't want to be recorded, if you're from the audience, you will not be recorded, or they'll edit you out. I don't know how you're going to do that.
Yeah, if you watch TV, you notice that sometimes you see blurry faces on some videos.
Like narco things,
yeah,
black it out so you don't see.
We will respectfully do that for everybody that doesn't.
I don't want to take any risk.
Yeah, I don't. So can we? I know it's a public meeting, but do we have a say on if we want to be recorded or not?
I think you probably do.
Well, I think
you're
the majority of us don't want to be.
We're public officials. We don't have a choice.
Okay, but I don't. I've always my hand. I don't want to be recorded.
So the way it works, and I didn't want to cover this. I just wanted to come in and take a few minutes. I can be on the front and just take the officials because they are public officials. They will be fine, and no one else will be on the meeting.
Okay.
Is that okay with you?
Will their voice be recorded, even though you don't show them visually?
What was that again?
Will their voice, their comments be recorded?
I don't
have to record the comments.
No, I just want to be clear so that no one here is surprised later on.
Right. Yeah. No, you won't. No, we won't do that.
All right. Thank you, sir. Well,
Sorry for being the point of problem here, but you know it is a public meeting. If you do speak, you will end up on the video. If you don't want to be in the video, I'm not going to get the audience. But if you are a part of the meeting and you are speaking, you are a part of the meeting. But if you don't want to be in there, I will try to respect you as best as possible. And it's honestly the conversation is what I'm looking at. I'm not looking at trying to, I don't know, you know, I'm not trying to invade anybody's privacy, but this is a public meeting, and if you choose to talk, you will be in the video.
I think this is my first meeting, and I showed up to a good one.
Wow.
Yeah, always good.
Never It's actually right, but in my case, I will respect anybody that doesn't want to be.
Well, thank you for that, because I didn't know myself that you were going to be here. So I just want to make sure that you elaborate on what's going to be going on, and no one is surprised later on.
No, you're right, yeah, so like in my case, yeah, I will just move up to the front and just the issues and that's it. The gentleman over there, he's right, actually, but he can do it his way probably.
Okay. All right, the meeting is called to order. This is the time for public comment. You have 2 minutes per person in public comments to speak on any agenda item which is not on the, on any item which is not on the agenda item. So just please come up, introduce yourself, and speak.
We're going to call the first person, Aide Farias, to the front for public comment of an item that's not on the agenda.
You can record me.
I'll give you a 10 seconds warning.
So 2 minutes and then the microphone will go off.
It's out.
It's on. It is?
Okay. Like you guys stated, my name is Aide Farias, and I'm a family member of students here, and I'm also a community member. And I just wanted to make a general statement about accountability and parent or community engagement. In the last month and a half that I have been involved in attending this meeting, a board meeting, and being informed of communications and things in general, I just think the statement needs to be made about accountability and what we're all here to do. And asking questions, asking that things be made more clear, that you make more effort in what you do, does not constitute hostility. It doesn't constitute intimidation. You may not be in the practice of receiving that level of input or requests from community members or family members. It's not only our right, it's our responsibility. It takes a village to raise children, and in the end, parents and community members are responsible for the schools that we have in our community. Your Oasis charter public school, and there's a lot of responsibility that entails because you do have that public school element. So I ask that you keep that perspective with you at all times, and you really focus on that because that's what we're all here to do. And questions and asking for clarification is not intimidation. And I hope that you can understand that. And if you don't feel comfortable in that role during this time of election and change, then you need to make that known, because that's where we're going at with making sure that the school is running in the top way that it should.
30 seconds.
Thank you.
All right, next.
Next is Ruth Sandoval.
Hello, my name is Ruth Sandoval, and I just wanted to share that we received a intimidating and a bully letter from Juanita yesterday from my husband. And in this letter she wrote, this is just one part of the 5-page letter that was very threatening. Your conduct during an Oasis public charter field trip, October 13th, when you took a picture of a staff member without consent, this behavior can be construed as harassment. You and any other community member do not have permission to take pictures of students or staff without prior written consent or permission. Your participation on school campus and or school activities will be restricted and limited. If the behavior persists, be aware that Oasis Charter has the legal responsibility of providing all employees with a work environment free of hostility and harassment. So my question is, my comment is, you're telling my husband he can't take pictures at a field trip, yet probably almost 100% of parents take pictures, take video, go live on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, but you're telling him, one person, that he can't do that? Don't you find that bullying? I mean, really? That's my comment as far as that. And then in a few months, you guys are going to be saying, hey, parents, can you send us any pictures of field trips, any pictures you have of the kids for a yearbook? Really? That is bullying. That is bullying my husband. And there's so much more that's going to come out. And I just want to say, we're not going to go anywhere. Your intimidation, your bullying of our family, we're not going anywhere. We're here, and if anything, we're going to pursue harder. That's all I have to say.
I don't have any other. Anybody who wants to talk, we need one of these papers, please.
Mi nombre es José Andrés Sandoval. No reconozco este requisito porque no estaba en la agenda. Ha puesto aquí en el esfuerzo, no reconozco eso. Mi nombre es José Andrés. Mi nombre es José Andrés Sandoval, y antes que sigamos con la junta, me gustaría que la mesa directiva compruebe que tiene derecho de sentarse en esta mesa. En este reporte que tengo, que les presenté a todo miembro del público, dice que Juan Sánchez, presidente, se le terminó su sitio, no sé cómo se dice, en septiembre de este último año. Jorge González, que está sentado aquí, su término se acabó junio 2016, y Pete Pryor, su término se terminó febrero 2017. Antes que sigamos adelante, me gustaría que comprobaran que tienen derecho de sentarse aquí, porque yo considero es una violation de la ley, y si ignoran este comentario y no se paran de la mesa, vamos a reconocer, y les doy la oportunidad de comprobar que que tienen sus derechos de sentarse aquí. Is somebody going to translate in English for me? For our English speakers? Or would you like me to do that?
I didn't understand a word you said.
Go ahead and translate.
Okay. My name is Jose Sandoval. I am a parent of 4 wonderful children here at Oasis. I would like before the meeting to continue that the board of directors can provide legal proof that they are actually authorized to sit on this board. Juan Sanchez, president of the board,
30
shows...
seconds.
I'm sorry, I thought I was speaking in Spanish, in English now.
Keep going. You are.
Okay, so actually the board act, when we speak in 2 languages, gives us some of the time.
And an extra half a minute.
That Juan Sanchez, president, the term expired last month. Jorge Gonzalez, term expired June 2016, and Pete Pryor's term expired February 2017. So before this meeting continues, if you cannot prove that you are actually legitimately allowed on this board, I'd like you to stand up, or if you can prove to us. If you don't have the proof, I understand. I just want it known to the public that this is their document provided by their own auditory committee, and
Thank you for your
I'm
comment.
asking for them to prove.
Thank you, wrap up.
I'm asking Juan to prove that he has a legal right to sit there as president and to run this meeting. And Juan, as treasurer, he is member. So, yeah.
En español.
Porque no me dio la parte de arriba. Como llegué tan rápido, pero si no aceptan mi comentario está bien,
No,
de
no,
otra
no.
manera no te
Why you in the microphone, please?
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es María Guerrero. Lo único que yo quiero comentar es sobre la limpieza que se está otorgando en esta escuela de nuestros hijos para limpiar. No he tenido respuesta, que nos íbamos a reunir una maestra, la administración, uno de la mesa directiva y conmigo. No he tenido respuesta para mirar qué se va a poder hacer para parar esto de que están limpiando la escuela porque es contra la ley. Es solamente lo que quiero que tomen en cuenta, que se nos escuche la voz, entremos en diálogo, no discusión, porque es por el mejoramiento de los estudiantes. Es todo lo que tengo que decir. En inglés no se los puedo traducir porque no sé inglés. Qué pena. Gracias.
Will you guys be providing English translation for our Spanish speakers? Because half the people don't speak English, Spanish. Or would you guys like me to do it? Maria Guerrero comentó, Maria Guerrero commented that still after having a communications meeting to improve our working relationship where Juanita Agustin agreed to have a committee to analyze the school's cleaning procedures. That still has not been done, and she has several concerns about the legality of it and the procedures. And
We can never mention any name.
oh, no, she has not received a single response from the board or the administration regarding her concerns or the promise to have a committee to deal with that issue after we raise concerns. Thank you.
Casey Buck. This is Casey Buck.
This is concerning the retaliation and intimidation against a parent of all things. This has happened before. This is not a new issue against employees, against parents who speak out about things that they either want clarification about, they don't think is a good policy and we need to redo it. And it's just not okay. It's not okay for us, for you guys to be bullying. You know, that's what we teach the kids. We don't bully, right? And so I just think it is very disheartening to see this happening again. It saddens me greatly to see a repeat of what already happened to me and other employees at the school and other parents.
The next one is Wes White. I think it's an S. Wes White.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Wes White. I'm a Salinas resident. I've also been part of the thing called Building a Better Board. We actually went against the board in the Salinas City Elementary and noticed a lot of irregularities and problems, I guess. Teachers weren't being listened to, parents weren't being listened to. And
Excuse me, could you speak a little bit louder because I'm translating into Spanish and I cannot hear you. Sorry, thanks.
Hopefully that's better. So I'm just worried and concerned. I've gotten a couple of concerned parents asking if I can come and check things out. I've seen it across in different boards, and you know, once you're elected, you have exclusive power to make those decisions. That's why you're represented to represent us. But we need to make sure that we're listening and we're sensitive to other people, and that things are being run accordingly and things are respectful, and we're meeting people more than halfway. That's the modeling that we're supposed to be showing our children and our students and our teachers and our staff. So I'm looking forward to hopefully a productive meeting and no conflicts. But we're watching, so hope things are going well and they continue to improve.
Any more comments? Okay, we'll proceed with the agenda. We had our closed session, and we'll go on to the consent agenda and adoption of the agenda. Do I have any additions, deletions, corrections to the agenda at this time?
I'd like to ask the board to table the Oasis, let's see, draft of the OCC bylaws, please, to table that 6.2. That's for the rest of the.
microphone.
Item 6.2, discussion items of the agenda. 6.2, draft of updated OCC bylaws to be tabled for the next meeting. Also, 6.1, conference call with independent auditing firm to discuss opening of OCC bank account, also to be tabled for a future conversation. And that will be it. Only those two items, please.
Okay, we have a recommendation to table discussion item 6.1 and 6.2. Any more from the board? Additions, deletions?
The board now received information on item 5.5. So you can.
Which one? Which one?
5.5. The board now received additional information senatorial requires. We don't have any information to review. So I would say to cross it off the agenda.
All right. So, here are any more additions, deletions, corrections? You have a comment or?
Yes.
I'm not going to entertain comments on every agenda items. So, you want to hold it to the end or? Are you gonna?
Well, no, I just want to make an adjustment because if you're tabling items that were put up for discussion and the option to do a comment was on whether I wanted to discuss items that were not on the agenda, I opted for that so that I can save my comment for an agenda item. But since this is being tabled, you still have an opportunity to discuss the item even if you're moving it at all, for those people that might have wanted to wait until you actually discuss the item. You see what I'm saying? And I opted out of that in my opening remark.
Yeah, well, we're gonna table probably to next month, we schedule for next month.
So no discussion.
No discussion, no. Andrew?
I submitted the OCC bylaws to Juanita, legal counsel, to you guys. At an OCC meeting where Agustin was present and Nora was present, we drafted our bylaws, we provided input. We had 8 out of 10 members show up. We voted on them, and we have OCC approved bylaws that I would like to maintain on the agenda. And I have proposed it to our president already, and we have OCC approved bylaws, and per our bylaws, after we approve them, it's sent to the board for your approval, not for Juanita's input. So I still would like to have that item as a discussion item. And the other item which you're tabling, which is also me, by coincidence, is I did submit that. If you don't have the email, I can send it to you again. But I did email that, and absolutely maybe it got sent to draft, maybe I was blocked, who knows. But I did send that. So if you're tabling both of the items that I have a part in, I see that that's right.
Okay. All right, so I have a motion. Yes?
My name is Kat, and I'm the OCC president, and I have to disagree with presenting the bylaws as I am the acting president for the OCC, and I did suggest that the bylaws be looked over in consideration with what the other members of the OCC agreed with. So I do not want the bylaws to be presented today, as I have already said, for next month, because we have to take into consideration the other OCC members that went ahead and gave their input on that. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So do I have a motion to table both those items recommended for table?
So Thomas, I would like to ask that we leave 5.5 if there's information we can present tonight. I don't have any information, maybe it was sent to spam, but we can do a presentation. I just don't have information for you to review. 6.1 and 6.2 can be tabled.
5.5?
Right. 5.5, I just don't have anything.
You said 5.4?
I'm so sorry, 5.5, I'm so sorry,
Okay.
5.5, I meant 5.5, I'm so sorry. 5.5, so 6.1, 6.2,
All right. So my motion to table 6.1 and 6.2. All right. All those in favor of tabling those two items, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Okay, so those will probably be rescheduled for November. Okay, so let's start our business. We have minutes. I think the board received minutes for August 29th and September 26th. Regarding the email, if you have any comments, corrections to the minutes for August 29th, September 26th?
Steve, see my hand, you
Yeah,
can tell me you
pardon.
don't want to take my comment out, but at least acknowledge one way or the other.
Okay, hearing none, do I have a motion to adopt the minutes for,
I move to adopt the minutes from August and September.
all right. Second. So it's been made a motion and second that we approve the minutes for August 29th and September 26th. All those in favor? Aye. Okay, the minutes are adopted. Moving on to item 5, business services. 5.1, playground options. Nate Parker from NSPC.
Juan, you have to stay there. Now I want to hear it.
I just want to make a quick announcement. There are adult restrooms here, far the end of the hallway here to the left. There's 2 adult restrooms. The restrooms here in the hallway is only for children, so please, only for children. Adult restrooms, they're accessible right here at the very end. There are 2 more in the office.
Nate, I hate to be a bad host, but how long is your presentation?
I can actually be pretty brief. My computer actually just died, so I do have extra reports with all the playground options and can run through them briefly for the first time.
Because sometimes, I know when vendors make presentations, they go an hour, so.
Not that time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Actually, can you get the lights back on real quick? All right, my name's Gary. I'm from NSP3. Thank you for having me out tonight. I prepared 3 playground options as a replacement option for the current playground equipment. And just a brief background, me, I've been doing this for 10 years now. NSP3 is located in Redding, California. Our manufacturer of Playcraft Systems is based out of Rands Pass, Oregon. So one of them more local manufacturers, one of the main manufacturers on the West Coast. The majority of playground equipment is manufactured on the East Coast, so there's definitely value in that, keeping it local and definitely value to the safe rate. So with that, I'll run into my first option. I know. Well, we kind of went through ahead of time and selected 3 of the best. This is actually option 4. In each one of our options, we included a 20-foot shade hat. I know heat is definitely a challenge when it comes to playground equipment, so we wanted to make sure it's usable during that tough time of year. You'll notice we selected a nice and bright color scheme in our company colors, but we can, you know, if there's a different preference, natural has been a big thing lately, or you would like to match school colors or anything like that, that's very possible. Each one of the options actually also is what we call a hybrid. It's kind of a mix of what you would see as traditional equipment and our new Revolution series, which is this silver post, more modern looking playground equipment.
Juanita, has any of the parents seen this presentation already, or else to see?
This is the first time we see it.
And I do have copies of all the site layouts and 3Ds if you'd like to pass them around later as well. All right, I have option, which was my option 2, but option 5. This is a similar piece of equipment, but this, in comparison to the other one, includes a rock climber, and we've eliminated the ropes. I know a lot of schools aren't a big fan of ropes. They're very fun, they offer a different experience, but they don't tend to last as long as metal, so that's what this option features. Also include examples if you'd like to pass them around. Just to give you a close-up look of some of our equipment.
It's just to give you a little more information on that. You'll notice on the top of that cap, that's actually, there's a lip over the top of the post. That's a self-sealing cap. That's been designed to not allow moisture to get into the post. That's where some playgrounds have rust problems. We definitely don't want that here because I know that's an issue here. It also has 2 layers of powder coat, so the manufacturer is very heavy duty, high quality. It's built its product to last. All right. Option 3, my favorite, is a little bit larger scale option. A lot of equipment packed into not too much larger space than the first 2 options I shared. Like I said before, we showed all the same color scheme, but we can definitely change that for you.
Yeah, that's my crew cat, so I was working with him too.
I play on them all the time. The best part is testing them out. I had some reference photos in my presentation, but it's not the closest thing, but we did finish a large installation of a nature-themed playground up in Pleasanton for Bernal Community Park. And we work all over the state, so I've done projects in Sacramento, Bay Area, Fresno, Southern California, so we've been around for 17, 18 years now. I've been with them for 10 and not going anywhere, so thank you for having me out and hope you like what we put together.
Nate, have you done any schools in the area?
Yeah, Pleasant is, I think, the closest installation. I know I have one, a private school in Sacramento that I could get you some information on. Those are more recent installations that I just off the top, but I'm sure we have a list of previous installs from years past that we may have some more local installations down here somewhere. I'd be happy to provide
You
that.
said something about ropes on the first one, this last one going on. It looks like it has 2 sets, is that the case?
That's correct.
Since we can't see the specifications on that, what's the capacity, the comparison between each of your?
Between each, I know option 4 and 5 are very similar capacity, and 6 actually offers more play value, more playground equipment, so the capacity is going up. Unfortunately, I don't have those numbers, but I'd be happy to provide them.
It would be good to know what's the maximum number of students that can be utilizing the playground structure, considering this purchase.
I understand, yeah, and I can provide that.
Yes. How about the dinosaur that we have outside? Can we recycle it or re-gift it? Because we got that as a gift from...
And we did include, removal and disposal of it. Some of the materials can be recycled, and I know they do that when they can. As far as re-gifting, that's probably out of the question. It's a big liability, especially if there's something on there that's been deemed out of compliance.
So these price sheets are...
So the price sheets, you'll notice 2 different quotes in there. One estimate is for the equipment and the tiles, tax and shipping. And the alternate estimate is for the installation, demo, removal. We do have the capability of carrying the whole contract, like general contractor. but the way we presented them is the best value to the school, working directly with the installation company and ourselves.
So that would be the dollar number right there that's shown.
That would be the best, yeah, best value. Correct, yeah, it includes us shipping the equipment to Playgrounds Unlimited, who provided the installation, them storing it and scheduling the installation, so you wouldn't have to worry about offloading, finding somewhere to put it before, they're able to pick it up.
And your timelines for order, like when you order to delivery to installation?
So typically from order, it's about 6 to 8 weeks for receiving the equipment. And, that puts us pretty close to the holidays. That is a tough time of year for scheduling, but typically, if we plan ahead of time, the install crews can get back out on site within about 2 weeks from receiving the equipment. Sometimes right after, but worst case, probably about 2 weeks. And then also we have to be conscious of the holiday season for that as well.
So it couldn't be installed during the 3 weeks of winter vacation for
I could find out.
That was above, that was mentioned,
Usually that fills up pretty quick. They may have already made some promises, but that's something if we, get ahead of the game, we can find out from them and try to fill that time slot before everybody else does, if they haven't already.
In each of the descriptions, there's I'm speaking about an offloading and storage of equipment is the customer's responsibility. How does that usually get handled?
So that's a standard, that shouldn't be on our estimate. That's the kind of a standard template because it's not always the case. So that would be removed, that is included in our complete package.
Okay, so it's not a separate deal. We don't have to get a whole bunch of parents.
No, we don't, we have that covered for you. We would look at, the installer would receive the equipment, bring it out upon scheduling the installation, you wouldn't have to touch it.
So it's not like it's coming over here and then you can do it.
Exactly, yeah.
Problem, remember with the last one?
That
And
was
so I
the
asked
start.
them, I asked them to go ahead and provide that, that they can store it. We don't have to worry about it.
Okay, any more questions?
Oh, sorry. One thing to clarify, on the installation estimates, we did include 2 different surfacing suggestions. One was rubber tiles and the other was pour-in-place surfacing. So the overall total of each estimate isn't necessarily accurate. You would have to remove the, say, pour-in-place if you were to want to go to the tile option. If you would like us to provide numbers, for you, for the totals for either or, then I'd be happy to do that.
What's the difference?
What's the difference? Okay, so tiles is very similar to what you have already, but not, after tiles are on site for an extended period of time, they tend to get hard, especially the kind of first generations of them. The tiles come with a prefabricated 2x2 square rubber that kind of allows you to, if you wanted to get creative, do a checkerboard. It is a little bit more expensive to do the tiles. The value in it is it's a little more maintenance friendly. So if, say, a tile gets damaged in one way, shape, or form, it's possible to pull that tile out and replace it with a tile. Port in place, it can be repaired, but you're always going to notice that was a repair because it's going to be a patch. You're going to see it. It's a little more difficult. It can be done, but it's definitely it's got somewhat of an eyesore, and you can't really necessarily get it right depending on how long after the initial installation it was put in.
When you say poured in place, what does that?
Poured in place is, I'm sure you've seen it, yeah, it's basically rubber cement, so it's an installation typically around 2.5 to 3 inches thick that is it's these rubber granules that are mixed with glue. There's a base layer that is troweled down that typically provides your fall protection, and then there's a EPDM layer about a 1/2 inch on top of that, which that's where you'll see your color that seals everything up. So it's just kind of this one unitary surfacing all linked together throughout your play space.
Your website, can you get on there and design something on your own?
We can, so we have an internal program where basically these are like, Legos for the lack of a better term, but we have a program where we could do a webinar with you, turn it around, switch this slide, change this primer, change those colors. We have the capability of doing that.
So once we sign, once the contract is signed, what's the required deposit to?
I believe it's, for typically with schools, we don't require a deposit, it's net 30 days. So I believe payment within 30 days shipment. And then installation is upon completion.
Okay. Is that it? And we have one more presentation.
Doris here, Doris?
Yes. I've never been invisible before. At 6 foot.
Thank you. Thank you, Nate.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Sure. I'll set this up real quick here. But, I don't think I have a battery, but I brought mine out just in case I don't. I don't know how we get this switched up. I'm not quite sure. You guys got the worst sight of me back here. My name is Doris Arpane, and I am with MRC Game Time. Actually, Gary's done a lot of my work for me as far as, we're under the same umbrella. So I too have been with Game Time for 10 years. MRC is a distributor company like NSP3 is for Playcraft. We are the distributor company for Game Time products. Under the Playcore umbrella, if you think of it like PepsiCo, you have Frito-Lays and Dr. Pepper and I used to work for Pepsi. You have the same with Playcore. Actually, Playcraft is under the Playcore umbrella. They are one of the tiers, and I sell a different tier. So one of the things that separates us from the other manufacturers is a couple of things. One is our direct bolt system. And that is, if you noticed on what was being sent around, it had clamps on the uprights. And you see that on a lot of playgrounds where they're put together with clamps. So the installer comes, drills holes, measures, and clamps everything together. With the Game Time products, we do not have clamps on ours. We do not have clamps on ours. Ours is a direct bolt. It's done in the manufacturer. So as far as installation goes, it's almost impossible to put it together incorrectly because the installer does not have to measure and drill on site. It's all done in the manufacturer. Nice, clean look. One of the reasons why that's kind of an important deal when it comes to children is children's feet like to go places where you don't necessarily want them to go, and the clamps act of like little stairs sometimes to get you to those fun parts that we don't really want the kids up on. So with the direct bolt system, we don't have that. It's a nice clean look. And I'm going to be very quick. I know I got a PowerPoint with me, but just to kind of
building fun for all ages. At MRC, that's our business and our motto. Since 1980, we have built a reputation on play systems for those young in years and at heart. Our experience has made us a leading park, recreation, and site furnishing equipment supplier throughout the United States. We are a representative of varying types of outdoor equipment, starting with Game Time, the nation's largest and oldest playground equipment manufacturer. We can also assist you with projects involving net playgrounds, splash pads, park furniture, custom fabricated architectural metal and art, outdoor fitness equipment, sport court athletic surfacing, synthetic turf fields, and much more. We will work with you on site to craft a plan that maximizes your space and your budget. From there, our talented in-house design staff makes customization a breeze. From first CAD drawings and renderings to fully installed fun. We are proud to utilize the industry's most advanced computer rendering and animation software to provide you with a digital view of your potential new outdoor environment. Our designers are also experts in inclusion. We design inclusive play environments that go beyond accessibility. Backed by independent research and based on guidelines developed by leaders in the field of inclusive design, our play and recreation spaces address the needs of the whole child and of every child. They also encourage children, adults, and families of all abilities to experience the benefits of play together. Ready to get your game on? Our fitness equipment, obstacle courses, bleachers, and grandstands, and sports servicing options offer plenty to cheer about. Our products meet the highest manufacturing standards and are sure to score points with any crowd.
Left the school now.
When it comes to safety, you can never be too careful. Our equipment is third-party tested and complies with all safety regulations for play and sports equipment. We also offer a wide range of playground safety surfacing, including rubber tiles, board-in-place rubber, rubber mulch, engineered wood fiber, and synthetic turf.
Trying to get that one to stop.
While play and sports systems generate excitement, it's the amenities that take a part from outdoors to outstanding. From an entrance that welcomes guests to accessories that enhance comfort, MRC has details that make a difference, including furnishings, architectural art, shelters, trellises, and more. Fun, fitness, safety, comfort. What more do you need? The industry's best customer service, timely delivery, and installation options that fit your budget from community install to turnkey. At MRC, we provide it all to surpass your expectations. And those are the people that will enjoy your outdoor spaces for years to come. For more information, call 800-922-0070 or visit us online at mrcrec.com.
Okay, I think it's done on that one. So this is one of the designs.
And I can pass this around up here too, around here. This is the one design that we have here. And you can see the top view of that. It's got a whale, it's got a hammerhead shark, it's got a sea turtle on it, and it's got a shade structure as well. Let's see here. There we go. See the sea turtle, the whale off into the left. There's the sea turtle. There's the hammerhead shark as well. So what we did is we did a light theming of an ocean theme. So, which kids really brings out their imagination. We also have the big, long, Bigfoot slide that the kids love to go down and play and kind of do a up and down and kind of a race, all three of them. So, we've got, there's a little bit better picture of the whale climber. There's the sea turtle. There's the slide. These are some other things that you can see the hammerhead on this one a little bit better. This is just one that we had done in the past, a little light theming. These are things that we have done heavy theming here. A lot of fun, so we kind of went with this option, we kind of went with a traditional playground. So you have your slides and your climber, and then we did a light theme with it as an ocean theme. Here are some of the things that we've done in the past. You can see the detail on these are just this is our direct bolt system that I talked about, to where It's done directly in the manufacturer, and there are no clamps. We partner with the Utah State University for inclusive play as well, and we have these physical, sensory, cognitive, and communication, along with social and emotional up on top. These are the things that we take into consideration when we're designing a playground. One thing about PlayCore is they're a research-based company, so child development is very, very important to them. They do a lot of, that's all they do. They don't sell, they don't make, all they do is research. And when they are done with the research and the partnerships, then the manufacturer takes over, and that's where we come up with some pretty magnificent playgrounds. So taking all of these things into consideration in designing. Some kids are, this is just showing you that we are also partner tech with Lego Tech. You can find them at all of the Toys R Us. And when you have that Lego Tech design, that means that it is a inclusive play item, which means that all kids can play with all types of disabilities, which is really important when you're on the playground. Our commitment as a leader in play, Game Time is the largest manufacturer company. We've been along in the world, and we've been around for 100 years. We started in 1929. So we are here to stay, which is very important because I see it and I get calls on it all the time where I'm coming out to a playground and it's no longer in business. It's so they can't find replacement parts for it. If something happens, they bought online, internet, or the playground company has been bought up. So then it's difficult to try to track down and where you're going to get you that replacement part. So that's one thing where you can feel safe, and that Game Time has been around and we're the one buying up everybody. So we're not the one that's being going to be sold anytime real soon. This is my first time at a board meeting, so I don't want to leave anybody out. Can I pass some things around and answer some questions?
Question right here.
Yes. I don't see a cost.
Cost is...
I don't see a cost. I was just asking if there
There's
was.
a cost in the...
Want to turn the lights back on?
There you go. There's two different options. One's with shade, and one is without the hammerhead shark. And the reason for that, I think somebody had commented that they wanted more panels and less bars. So we took out the hammerhead and added more panels and stuff. But what you saw was the one for that had the hammerhead in it.
$85,197.60.
Yes.
Only the other guys involved in here, right? Only the first presenters and not her.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You spoke about the clamps.
Yes.
So what makes, when I think of a clamp, it holds the structure together.
Correct.
So what makes this playground safer without the clamps?
It's a lot safer because it's done in the manufacturing. So when it's put on with a very tightened, the guys here can correct me, it's that strap that the installers use to really tighten it so it doesn't come loose or what have you. So everything, all your decks and everything would normally be with a clamp. It's done with a nice, clean, direct bolt.
Okay.
Which I think the best way to see that is probably in one of the, here's one, right here, you can kind of see how it's put together.
out in clamps.
And safety is one of the biggest things that game time, it's number one. So your safety surfacing really should be, the most important, not the most fun to do. It's better to design a playground, it's more fun to design a playground, but the safety surfacing is very important. I do agree with Gary that if I were to move forward, I would probably, and I sell everything, so, I have the pour in place, I have the rubber chips, I have the engineered wood fiber, and I have several companies that we use for tiles. As a matter of fact, I did bring a sample of it with me today, but it's an interlocking tile. So what you have now are tiles that are placed down. The tiles that we sell are interlocking so that you don't have that coming up. You don't have the old tiles you see get out of place and what have you. It's all done there. And again, tiles are done in the manufacturer. So when you lay down pour in place, that you guys have probably all seen in playgrounds and everything, and most likely it's probably been holes in it and that sort of thing. You don't get that with the tile. But it is more expensive, but it's more expensive up front, but less expensive down the road.
I'll ask you, because Gary's not available. You talked about the pour in place. I'm imagining some flat, gummy thing. I'm not sure I've ever seen it. But all the years I spent in education tell me that children like to mess with stuff.
Yes.
It just gives them an opportunity, sort of something to dig into, if you will.
No, they don't tend to mess with it until somebody with high heels walks on the playground, punctures a hole in it, and then you start, the kids thinks it's so much fun to pull back that pour in place and start digging. It becomes a whole new play value system for them, and which really is a big headache for the customer, because once that's done, now you have to patch it. Well, you're never going to match the pour in place color because that fades. So you're going to put in a different color and try to do a circle or a square or a dinosaur print. I've seen it all. And, it's not as clean. And with a tile, you literally cannot puncture a hole in it. I've tried with screwdrivers and whatever. Listen, there's a will, there's a way, it can be done, but it's going to be very difficult. And if it happens, you take out a square and you replace it for $40, $50 I think. So it's a cleaner look down the road as well. Any more questions?
Yeah, I have one.
Sure.
In your catalog, it says fall height 8 feet.
Yes.
So what would, for elementary school, it says 5 to 12 years old. So if a child falls 8 feet and lands on whatever they decide to put in the ground, what kind of liability do we have for the child?
Well, you don't, because the surfacing that you put down is going to reflect the fall heights. So for 5 to 12, Game Time has, because other manufacturers, we've gone up there and we can get higher, but what you basically will see in the catalogs is nothing over 8 feet. They make the slides faster. I mean, I've seen 14-foot slides just gone up by a competitor, and it's like, why? But the surfacing has to reflect that. It can be done, and they just went into a school too, Monterey Peninsula. Just put in like a 4-foot slide. But the surfacing has to reflect the fall height. So if you got a 2 to 5, nothing over a 5-foot deck, right? So it's going to be, you don't have to put in as much.
Right.
You put in like 2, yeah. And as far as references go, we have school and we have playgrounds in Castroville, city of Hollister. In fact, we're just putting in one in Calaveras and Sunny Slope. park with the school district and the city of Hollister together. But we have playgrounds in Hollister, Monterey Peninsula, Calistoga. Who am I missing? It's quite a, quite a bit.
So you have some local presence.
We absolutely did, yeah. And like I said, we're global, we're worldwide, but as far as California goes, I specifically handle all the north and then the Monterey, Salinas area. But we have it down in Southern California and all over the place. But in this area, we have quite a nice presence. We'd love a bigger presence.
All right, thank you, Doris. All right. Thank you. At this time, I'm going to... No, I don't see Anthony. The guy's always here, now he's missing. Where's Andrew?
I know that Juanita, she received it. Otherwise, I don't have a way to print it. But I was actually...
No, you're down for 5.5, but in the interest of keeping some continuity on the issue, I'm going to move you up so you can make... Can you make a presentation right now?
Yeah, if Juanita print out the forms I just emailed her.
I did not receive them, I'm sorry, I'm not.
Because you have them to you right now.
Oh, just right now?
Yeah, that's what he said.
No.
So you're not ready to make a presentation?
I'll make my presentation anyway.
Right.
Or unless you want to print it, I can email. You want me to email it to somebody else? And then we can move it forward back a little bit.
I just need 5 minutes to go print it.
Okay. Or we can move on the agenda. The next scheduled agenda item is the financial report for September from Donna Strong. Who's going to connect us?
She just left. All right.
She's the only one with a number?
Yeah, maybe we should table that on.
What was that? Did you say?
Yeah.
Oh, I think you did. That's why I said that. I heard you. It was.
How about Suzanne? Is Suzanne ready?
Juanita's actually going to present that one.
Oh.
It's printed, it's in your packet.
Okay.
You know what? If you guys want to go ahead and table it, if you guys want to go ahead and table it, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I think the responsible thing would have done for our administrator to do a follow-up to see, make sure we had all the things on the agenda that were presented instead of surprisingly last minute that it wasn't ready.
Well, yeah, and then my only concern is that here it is October, and I think we're going to miss the Christmas break window for installation.
Okay.
The way we proceed on picking a vendor and having it installed.
So I'm okay with tabling it.
Yeah, I'm not okay with tabling it. I either get the presentation or it's indefinitely postponed. So, yeah. That night. So, we can wait. Kat is ready.
Kat, you ready? Yeah. All right. Kat steps up. Oasis
Yes.
Community Council update.
Yes, so I'm going to give the OCC updates. So we did Ciclovia last 2 Sundays ago, I apologize. It was a great event. It was free advertisement. We do need a couple things. I was right next to Peter Cryer. He helped me, thank you so much. So I would suggest that we need more swag, banners, a tent, and I would suggest that we do it yearly. It was really fun. We actually had people that used to go to Oasis come up and say, oh my gosh, it's great to see you guys here. And it's free advertisement, so that helps our school. So So that was good. And then we ended up having a special meeting a couple weeks ago, sorry, I don't have the dates. And OCC voted to enter into the light parade. And so I submitted our application, I'm just waiting to hear back. And so I consulted with Juanita, and she said, since we don't do Christmas, to do something like a winter theme. So I was thinking like snowflakes and things like that. I presented a couple ideas to the OCC members. And so as soon as we get the okay that we are in the parade, then we'll start planning to make costumes for the kids and lights and all that stuff. And then we were presented with the child care option. And we all voted that same day to have the USIN pay for the USIN and OCC regular meeting childcare, which was presented to us as option 1. And then we were asked to pick somebody from the OCC for the end of the cycle of the cleaning to represent OCC to help give input as far as like the cleaning. And we were told there was going to be like a staff member, a parent, a teacher, just to kind of give ideas after the whole cycle of the cleaning. You're confused, Peter. So after the whole cycle of the cleaning was done, I suggested that, then we can get input from everybody, because we've already done a whole cycle where all classes have already done the cleaning. Then we can get input from everybody as to how it went, was there any hiccups, was there any bumps, what worked, what didn't work, and input from everybody, and then kind of collaborate and work on that. So the OCC voted Maria Guerrero to be that representative for the parents. And then we will be selling raffle tickets at the Harvest Feast. We were donated a electric scooter, and we decided that we are going to sell 1 ticket for $5, 3 tickets for $10, and 7 tickets for $20. And then we moved our next OCC meeting to November 14th because I work in the elections, and so I cannot be there on the 7th. So everybody said that they voted and it was okay. And we will present our bylaws at the next USIN meeting. We are working on the suggestions that were given to us, and I went ahead and sent them to all of the OCC members and took into consideration their feedback, their input, and so I'm working on those so they will be ready for the next USIN meeting. And that is it. Questions? Yes.
I was wanting to put on my calendar, but when
Yes.
is the light parade?
The light parade. I'm sorry, I didn't write the date. I believe it's
January 10th.
no, not January 5th. It's November. Okay, the last Sunday of November.
Well, that would be the 26th.
Okay, yes, sorry. Anybody else?
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes,
it was really great that you guys were out there for Sokovia. It was a positive thing for Oasis to be out there, and thank you very much, because I was next to you for 5 hours.
Yeah.
and we had a really good time too, so.
Yeah,
thank you.
I'm glad.
Good job.
If I could just say thank you to Juan Hernandez and his wife, who actually were helping me the whole day and came to my rescue with tables, because I forgot to bring the tables. So I'm very appreciative of them. So thank you very much.
Okay, now we have Andrew's presentation on the additional playground options.
I have a few copies here. More copies are being used in the copy machine. So you can share this in the meantime until we get the other copies.
I had sent 2 emails. There's two, this is only one option.
It's going to take a while to reproduce. I don't know if we have all the time to reproduce all the copies, but it's copy. It's double-sided. It's copyrighted. It's copyrighted. So,
Sure.
we can start with this one.
Sure.
That's all I have.
So I'm not as sophisticated as the other presenters. I was provided the opportunity to get another quote because our first option, or the first 2 options were the same company. So if you guys look at the quote, I emailed the company our same guidelines and sizes. So this one right here is this is just one picture of the playground. Of course, like the other ones, the colors can be modified or changed. And this one right here, which is attached, it's the actual base playground. It's got a 46 kid capacity. They provided two different prices. And the first one is just for the playground equipment itself is $17,152. They gave us an estimate for removal of and disposal of our existing playground, which they quoted us at $3,200 for the actual removal, but then they foresee they're going to have to probably fix some asphalt and correct some issues when they rip it out with a backhoe or whatever they're going to use. The installation only of owner provided, okay, so as the lady was saying, it's more cost effective in the long term to have rubber tiles than inset, so they're giving us a price just for installation of that. Their shipping is 5 to 6 weeks from the receipt of our order and confirmation. And they gave us some drawings of the different options. No, this company only gave us one. So that's our proposal for one, and then we'll wait for one.
Was this the company out of Florida?
This company is out of California.
Okay.
Yeah, I was looking for local companies, considering our first estimate gave us shipping costs of over $10,000, and we would have to unload it ourselves and find a contractor to do that. So I try to go with local companies and that serve us a little easier. And this company has been around for 25 years. I know the other person mentioned reliability, and it's true when it comes to replacing parts or damaged equipment. It's important to have one for local people and two to have a company that's been around a long time. You guys have any questions?
It says here that in the introduction that they have a play area at Ross Valley Charter School. Is that a place where they built one already, or do you have any other places locally that the other folks?
Oh no, this is I don't know. I didn't see that part. Oh yeah, they made a typo there. Yeah, so I don't have specs. I was tasked with getting proposals, so any other things, I mean, if you tell me it's something, I can definitely do that for you.
I just wondered if they told you could go look at our work somewhere else.
They have built several facilities here in California. It's a California-based company. I don't have those for you offhand, but I can get those for you.
So Andrew, when you requested this proposal from the company, what were your, did you say, give me your best priced equipment, or did you?
I gave them the specs. I gave them the specs and how many students we want to try to accommodate at one time. I asked for good pricing. As the more we customize, you can see, we've got $80,000. The more we customize, the higher the cost. Also, I asked about mobility, since the board and Juanita has mentioned that they might be interested in moving the school at some point in time. So I asked for something that could be moved that wouldn't incur a big cost. Because I don't know, they were saying some of the things are set into place and tied down. So I don't know. We can ask the person if that can actually be taken apart, or are we going to have to cut that thing apart when we decide, if we move or we decide to move. So that's one factor I asked them. And yeah. Here's option number 2. Oh, sorry. Does anybody have any other questions?
Do they have a shipping cost?
I didn't get a shipping cost for the California-based company. I only got the cost for our actual equipment. But it's definitely going to be much cheaper than, what was the other company from, I think, the East Coast? And this is playground equipment option number 2. This is actually not my favorite one. It's actually a little bit that has options, a little more interactive, not interactive, options. I don't know if you guys have been Tatum Gardens, they use a lot of ropes. So I don't know if you got a copy of this one. But this is a unique design. Not my favorite, but it's definitely a unique design.
Question,
I have a question. When I'm looking at the quote here, it says that does not include shipping costs. So what is the shipping cost?
Yeah, I didn't request shipping costs.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's, like I said, it's definitely gonna be cheaper than the company from the East Coast should be able to.
So you could follow up.
I can definitely follow up, yeah, absolutely.
Printing the other two sets. We received two more attachments. And Monica, for the record, I will receive on October 10th and October 12th the proposals. I received them today at 7:05 and 7:07 p.m. So I did my best to reduce and I'm reducing this. I can, as fast as I can. The machine is doing its best.
So would you like me to provide you with my second email? To justify that?
Let's hear what you can.
Okay, 'cause-
Yeah, let's hear what you have.
She said I didn't send it, so I just, I like to clarify that, but I can definitely give you guys a second email, no problem. This is a different one. It's got a helix net between the arch and the post. It's got a gyro twister. I don't know if you guys ever been to those. I mean, ever seen those? But kids get to sit on them and it spins them around. Let's see. Yeah, swings, I don't know, they want to find a swing, I think it's, not kids, knockout kids, yeah. This one is for kids 5 to 12 years old, and the estimated price for this one, it's $27,000 for this one. Yeah, around $27,000. They give us different demo prices. The reality for demolition is until somebody comes on site and actually reviews us, it doesn't really matter, and we could probably use a local contractor to handle that. So, I mean, unless you want to have this playground company do that. Gave us an estimate for installation. They gave us, this company gave us a quote for surface poured in place rubber surfacing. They gave us $17,000, and the installation of the surfacing is $7,000. So the estimated for this one is $73,998. No, it's on the fourth page. This company also provided us a second option, which I like much better. And the price is, they list all the items separately, but the $86,000. And this one's, it's a comparable price, so it's $87,000. Yeah, and the second option is, to me, a much better option. But like I said, they're different options. And this one doesn't include shipping. This company, and they're both California-based companies, I believe.
What are the names of the companies?
This is Ross Recreation Equipment. And California Playground.
So Ross,
is fabricated here in the United States or outside of the United States?
What was that?
The material is fabricated here in the United States.
Oh, I don't know
or
about the
outside of the
fabrication. I don't know about the fabrication.
That's something that
But I could definitely look
I would like to know, because it is made in China, all those,
we should probably ask out of all the proposals. then,
Exactly.
yeah.
Okay.
It's most of them probably are.
Yeah, but it is,
So, I don't know if you guys heard that, but they wanted to have a uniform answer about all the proposals, if all the equipment is made in China, not just pertaining to China. So I'll look that up and I'll ask the supplier if you guys choose me to continue.
You saying you don't want the equipment made in China, or you?
no, I think where the material was fabricated.
He's just asking, he wants information on where the material was fabricated. That's it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Do we know about the capacity of number of students per
Yes.
structure?
Yes, so,
like 25.
yeah, the first one was 46 kid capacity.
Page 3.
sounds a strange question, but I just noticed their addresses in Santa Rosa. Are they still there?
Oh, that's a good question, Mike. Santa Rosa. No, hopefully the stuff wasn't manufactured in China. It survived.
Any questions from the board on this proposal? Yeah.
Well, I do want to make sure that the billing address is not Salinas School District. The billing address is Oasis, or Salinas School District has no responsibility of any purchases or equipment or liability caused by any purchase mixes made by Oasis. And it says Salinas District School, and it has the address.
Yeah, I'll correct that. I'm not sure why they put that on there. I never given any reference to Allison's condition. I'll definitely have it recorded. They saw something on there.
Thank you for writing.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you, Andrew, for your work. Bringing that back to the board, I'd like to have a discussion. I'm a little apprehensive about the timeline here. We've been entertaining this proposal for the last 3 months. Christmas is what? The holiday, vacation time is 45 days. So, Juanita and board, what's the process from this point on? How do we make a decision now? Getting a recommendation from the board.
Well, at this time, the first step is to allocate funding for a play structure, and at least a bulk amount or a set amount. And then the next step is to look at all 3 proposals and eliminate, three different companies, and eliminate the ones that we definitely don't want to consider. Once we do that, we can do it by committee, and then the committee can eliminate some of them and leave maybe 3 options for that to be presented to the staff, to the OCC, to the different stakeholders, and bring it back to the board for a couple of options for the board to consider one of them. Because ultimately it's a large purchase, it's a big amount, and the board has to make a final decision on which play structure to buy. But it has to be done at this time, we have so many options by process of elimination, and then narrowing it down to what we think is the best one. Maybe a committee where an OCC member, maybe a staff member, classified and certificated, a board member, and then so that we can narrow it down. So that we can bring it back to the board.
And can we do all that by Friday?
Hi, Jen. Do all that by Friday, or next year, or next month?
No, yeah, I'm trying to get some sense of urgency here about getting the recommendations from the parents, OCC, staff people. Like I said, we've been talking about this for 3 months. So my sense is we're going to miss that window. My sense is we're going to miss that window. So.
Well, I don't know if we are, it's our goal to do it during the winter break, then we need to rush and do this as expeditiously as possible. If we are a little patient and we'd rather delay it just a little bit so we can take our time. And it's, either way, the play area is going to have to be closed down for a few weeks, either way. There's no way they can get it done in 3 weeks. And either way, maybe a little late to get on the schedule for demolition, permits, and installation. Either way, it's going to take a little bit of time. So I would propose and recommend to this board is to take our time to select the right company and the right play structure, even if it's late past the winter break. That would be my recommendation.
Yeah, I want to do it right. But some of us are hanging on to the notion that this is going to be done during Christmas break. So we want this done right. I think we have to give up that notion that it's going to be done during Christmas. Question?
Yeah, just, my husband is a professional playground safety inspector, and so if you don't have, like, if you have a committee, you don't, within yourselves have an area of expertise, at least that provides you more time to seek out that expertise, if it's not with your own insurance provider, usually for your school, I mean, they're the ones that should be backing you up with reviewing your playgrounds. But you would want to, as part of a committee, one of the criteria for evaluating it would be first the safety and compliance and make sure that all of them, how they measure with each other on safety first, just to make sure that that portion is taken care of. But if you do have a committee, at least you can have that criteria and you can kind of assess each one based on those established criteria. But I would say safety being the first one, especially with the surfacing material. I think what they mentioned is correct. The majority of injuries that happen as falls and happen because of the surfacing structure more than anything else. You mentioned swings, but there's actually still strangulations that happen of young children with swings, so it's kind of why they're being phased out of most public schools, but you might still see them in public parks. But I would definitely continue on with at least a committee so that you have specific criteria that you're evaluating the playground surfacing.
Thank you for that comment.
For the offer.
So,
My husband.
So I heard you say we're going to convene get the next meeting, and I'm sure the night, whoever we pick probably need 90 days for delivery, installation, all the goals. Let's not forget permits. Oh, yeah, all the permits. So just have done a year then.
Yeah, having said all this, I cannot anticipate this being done before summer break. There's no way, especially with the delay with the city of Salinas in the permit processing and inspection, especially inspections. So I would say not sooner than summer break.
All right, thank you. So moving on. Can we talk to Donna now?
Again, if there are any members of the public that wish to address the board or make a comment, please make sure you fill this out. It's in English and Spanish. And in back, there's extensive
Juanita, just to clarify, and I've been to other boards, usually that's for the beginning, and you stated in your bylaws that if people wanted to address specific agenda items, and they would also have a 2-minute limitation. So, and I've done card comment ones before, and usually do them at the beginning, but if you're reminding people for the next meeting about the beginning, or you're saying from this point forward, anyone who wants to contribute still has to fill another paper out?
It's best to have this paper filled out so that we can follow people in order.
But that already happened at the beginning of the meeting.
For any additional comments for any of the items on the agenda?
So to speak at all, you have 2 minutes from beginning to end the meeting. And even though you call us up at the beginning, I already used up a minute and a half. That's interesting. That's okay, but that's new. Because I've been at other boards, and usually you can even opt to not even accept comments during other periods. But that is at the beginning, and then you can say, you know what, you'll answer.
For the next meeting, I'm reminding people this is what we have available.
Okay, are we connected?
We're ready, Donna.
Okay then.
Hi, Donna.
Let's see here. So which report do you have in front of you? You want to start with the balance sheet?
Donna, can you hear us well? We have you on.
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So are you ready to go over the balance sheet?
Yes, Donna, we're having a public meeting. Are you aware of that? Looking for the balance sheet.
Okay.
Balance sheet is right here. 5.3.
Let me know when you're ready.
We're ready.
Ready, go ahead.
Okay. All right, so starting with the balance sheet, the ending cash at September 30th in all bank accounts is $1,096,420. The accounts receivable just below that for 8866, that cleared out in October. The employee receivable underneath that, that's the $1,636. That is going to be paid through payroll to the end of this year. It'll be paid off by June. The same thing with the employee receivable summer 125. That will be paid off through payroll every month until it's paid off in June. The receivables underneath that, the due from grantor government unrestricted, IDEA, Title II, and SC 740, those were all paid. The monies were received in October. The prepaid expenses, $13,069. That's all for, let's see, it looks like it's 12,114 are your deposits on the building, and the remainder are all staff development that employees are going to be taking at MCOE. And it looks like November, January, and then there's some more training that'll happen in October. So that's what those are about. The $825 at the field trip, that's going to be expensed, or they'll go on the field trip in March, so we'll expense that in March. Okay? On the liability side of it, jumping down to the current liability, the state unemployment insurance payable, that's the quarterly amount, that's the amount we pay every quarter. We add to it each payroll, and then at the end of the quarter, it gets reported to the state and the amount gets paid. Workers' comp payable, at this point, the charter state has the companies pay up front 25% of the estimated premium and then split the remaining estimated premium into 9 payments. So at the beginning of the year, you've always paid more than you've expensed. So this will stay a negative number until probably about, I'm going to say January or February, and then it should start, turning around to be a positive amount, which means that at that point, then that will be what Oasis owes charter state. The 1/6 withholding payable, that's the summer monies that are being withheld from the employees' checks, so that we'll keep adding to that every month until July of next year, and that will get paid out to the employees this July. The 644.75 in suspense clearing, that has to do with the Rabobank credit card. There were fraudulent charges that we're still trying to get cleared up with Rabobank. So hopefully that'll be cleared up by October. Any questions on the balance sheet?
Any questions on the board on the balance sheet? Okay, what's next?
Okay, so you want to move on to the income statement?
All right.
Okay. I'm getting Oasis up on the screen right now. I want to have a look at this in lieu real quick to see why we're not showing any payments for in lieu. Let me just get this done here. For August. Okay. All right. So it looks like as of September 30th, your state aid payments have all been paid to date, as have your EPA payments. Your in lieu you should receive 2 payments by the end of September. But it looks like you didn't receive your August payment until October. So I'm gonna check this out with Casey and see if she's contacted Kathleen. So I'll let you know about this one, but I know we've invoiced it, but we just need to find out why they haven't paid it yet. Because this is the end of due from Alisal.
Okay.
For September. So I'll find out about that and I'll let you know, Juanita, okay?
Yes, thank you.
Let's see. So all the other revenues, you're not really gonna start getting these revenues until later in the year. IDEA, that doesn't come through until the first of next year. Title I, that'll be in another month or two, you'll get a small percentage of it. And the same thing with lottery, that you'll get your first apportionment for lottery in December. Your local revenues seem to be about in line. For your fundraisers, I noticed that you got budgeted $16,000 and you've raised $14,000 so far. So, perhaps Juanita for Senator will go over that and make sure that 60 is still a real number. Your after school seems to be okay. So all of your revenues, other than the in-lieu, seem to be about in line for right now. Teacher salaries, they look fine, as do your certificated and your classified. You're about 18% of budget, which is just about right. And the same thing with your benefits. You're 18.83% of budget, which is again right for this time of the year. Looking through all of your books and supplies, I don't see anything out of line. It all seems to be, you've got plenty of budget left for everything. Everything looks good there. And for your...
Donna, Pete has a question for you.
Donna, I have a question. My favorite thing is
Yes.
the health and welfare.
Yes.
I think we discussed it last month, but it's going up.
I'm sorry, you'll have to say that again.
I think the health care is going up 20%, 18% for next year. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah.
Well, I can respond to that, Donna. And we have our fees set for health and welfare till the end of the academic year. It's going to go up. It will go up, but we don't know by how much. Usually it's 15 to 20% per year, as well as STIRS. It goes up every year. So we don't know the amount, and at this time, I can anticipate a minimum of 15 and a maximum of 20, but we will know by March.
Okay.
How much, by March at the latest.
So this will be effective for 18-19.
That is correct. Yes. School year, not calendar year.
I'm done.
So the current policy that you have, with the current broker you have, Juanita, that is, runs from July 1st through June 30th?
Yes, that is correct.
With the rate?
Yeah, the rate is locked until June 30th, and it goes up on July 1st.
Okay, yes, I see that. Yeah, I'm looking at the budget now, and it says that 7117 was the renewal quote. Okay, all right. So when we work on the second interim, and pull in next year, we'll factor that into the projection. The expected percentage increase. Are you going to increase the employer cap that much, or are the employees going to need to participate a little bit more?
And can you ask the question again, Donna? I'm sorry, I was distracted with the statement here looking at it. Can you ask
That's okay. Well, I mean, this is a question that doesn't need to be asked right now. It's just kind of a off the cuff question. But do you think you'll be increasing the employer cap by the 20%, or will the employees have to participate a little bit more?
You mean for family enrollment or for their coverage?
Well, Oasis is going to continue covering the employee, right?
Right, 100%.
Even with the 20%, right?
Yes, that is the plan. school.
Okay, so then we'll just factor that in when we work on the projection for next year, we'll factor that
We
in.
just have to factor in a 20% increase, and then if it's less than that, then it's savings at that point, but we have to factor in a 20% for the employee. Oasis has the plan to continue covering 100% of the employee benefit cost.
Okay, all right. So, did that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, so for services and operating expenses, the only thing that seems to be over budget is dues and membership. So we'll adjust that at first interim. Everything else looks to be right in budget. Let's see. Yeah, everything else looks fine. I don't see anything that stands out or that I see that we need to discuss, really.
I have a question,
Okay.
and it should be on your cash flow statement. Based off the last parent meeting that you guys stated, a number for fundraising, you stated a lot of dollars that were received from your fundraising events, and I don't see those numbers reflected here on your cash flow. So even if it cost you, like you stated, over 20-something thousand that you received from fireworks, and then it cost you, I don't know, I think you said 28 and it cost you 26,000, you should still have the cash deposit in here and then the expenses on where that 26,000 went. And I don't see anything on here.
That information was provided to the OCC president of the revenue and expenses of the fundraising.
Yeah, but
Gross and net.
for your cash flow statement, should have those deposits, right, Augustine?
I understand your question. I'm not saying, I don't know why they're not.
Yeah, I
I
mean.
understand your question.
So I guess.
Okay, I can't hear the conversation,
Donna-
so is there something I should be answering here?
Yes, Donna, so the question is, there were the fireworks fundraiser, it doesn't seem to be reflected in the cash flow.
The fireworks, okay, let me have a look here.
So I guess also, Donna, the piece says that, I don't know if we need to have the gross and the net. Is that what?
Well, it's just not reflected.
So even
It's
if
not
it
broken
costs,
down,
yeah, even if it costs you a lot, your
Yeah,
cash
yeah.
deposit goes in first here to show that activity. And then underneath, under expenses, you state what those expenses are, but you have a total of only 11,000 in July, nothing in August, and 3,000 in September, and at the parent meeting, there was many more thousands of dollars that were discussed that you had brought up with your laptop, so that
Donna,
should be
did you get the
reflected.
question?
No, I didn't. I'm looking at the actual general ledger for fundraising receipts in the accounting system. And I see in the month of July, the fireworks sales were 11,847. So on the cash flow, that's showing in July under fundraising.
628.
And then in September, there were no receipts recorded for fundraising in August. And then in September, the fundraising receipts of 2542 are all for a barbecue fundraiser.
Okay, so I'm trying to get some understanding here because I'm still a little confused. So that sounds like what we presented to at the last OCC meeting, the gross receipts for fireworks was 20-some thousand. And so I guess the numbers are not reflected, Donna, on the total sales, the gross sales, and then minus the expenses and everything that we paid. And so then to come out with the net. I guess that's what the question is, right? What are the 20-some reflected in expenses, therefore you get a net?
Right, that's how it works, yeah.
So
Okay, so are you saying that you realized more revenue than $11,000 in July for fireworks? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, because the rest of it, 11,000 was the cash, or not cash, but checks received or cash received, and then the rest was paid with credit cards. So we need to clarify that for the income statement, Donna. There was other amounts received, and those were paid with a credit card, with the card, square, what do you call it, square?
So the credit, all the credit card charges go directly to TNT. So when we go to pay the bill at the end, TNT says, this is how much all your credit cards are received. You received, say, 14,000 in credit cards. So that is taken off of what we sold. So because it goes directly to TNT's account, and that just, it's like a credit for us. That's why it doesn't reflect the whole 27,000 in there. And that's how every school does it. It's done with it gets deposited to TNT, and then it gets deducted.
So where would you reflect that activity on your statements?
So,
Well, the cash was never came into us though.
Donna, I guess the cash flow is money received. There has to be maybe some clarification on the fireworks. We sold more than that amount. About 20-some thousand was sold. So part of it, what Edith is saying, it was paid directly to TNT. And so that activity needs to be reflected. So can we work on that to make sure the activity is reflected, please? The total activity.
Oasis is going to have to send us an accounting of it for us to book it. All we received from Oasis is a deposit. Let's see here.
We can definitely give you that information.
It was a deposit on 7/5, a cash of $11,847, and that's all we've received from Oasis for any fundraising receipts for the fireworks.
That is correct. So let's work on the accounting. We do have the breakdown of revenue minus expenses and what the net amount was. So can we?
Well, okay, but you're saying that the revenue was 20,000.
No, 20 plus.
I don't.
No,
I'm not seeing that.
Donna, the sales were the 20,000 amount. The deposits were the correct amount that you have in. So we just need a ballot to show all the revenues minus deposits and balances, so that it's clear that the sales equal the amount that was paid and that was retained by TNT, by all entities. So it's breaking down that entire amount of sales, and I probably wouldn't be reflected in your books, because it's not reflected in anyone's books. But I think that we need to get some clarification so that.
Okay, well.
So no.
Transactions
are.
What we're showing right now.
I completely understand. We don't need to get into.
Is that one deposit for the 11,000, and then we're showing a payment under fundraising expense to American Promotional Events for $3,628.54. Board of Equalization Fireworks Fundraiser Use Tax Fees, $2,403.52. TNT Fireworks, $185. Another one, the City of Salinas, which I'm not sure if that's for the fireworks or not, but that's another $1,896. So, do any of those expenses sound right to you, Juanita?
They are all correct. I guess we just need to show the sales minus all of the expenditures.
Well, we're going to have to do that as a subledger because you didn't actually receive $20,000 in cash. I mean, you didn't put $20,000 in cash in your bank. So I need to see, someone needs to send over a reconciliation of what you're talking about, and then I'll see how we can book it.
That's what I was referring to.
And that makes sense, just from what I observed.
A subledger is going to be provided, the information will be provided to you, Donna, in the next few days, so that you can have a subledger showing the total amount of sales.
Okay, all right, yeah. I'm not sure how we'll incorporate it into the accounting system, or if we can, but we can definitely keep a subledger of those, the revenues versus the expenses. And we should be able to tie that back to the accounting system. So once I see it, I can tell you how we can make this work.
And Donna, the only reason I'm asking is because I've seen and heard a lot of questions regarding the fundraising, a lot of concerns. 2 of the board members attended a parent meeting, and so I would think that you would want to provide subledgers and just clarity on how these transactions are occurring. If you have all the information and it's readily apparent, then you should just be able to work together to provide that on a more regular basis, because what's been provided so far isn't sufficient.
Okay, so,
Okay, so but for ARI to provide anything, we have to receive it from the school. So the school has to send us the complete reconciliation that you have, and then we can incorporate it in. We do not have any way of knowing what the total sales were. We don't have access to the credit card you're talking about. So, there's no way that we can pull this data together without the school assisting.
and we actually have it, Donna, in the copy of the deposits, bank statements, and receipts, every receipt and every piece of information we had was provided to the OCC president at the October 6th meeting. So we'll provide it to you and we can see how we can incorporate it. How about that?
Okay, that sounds fine, Juanita.
Thank you.
Okay, now that we all understand the problem, let's see if we can reach a solution shortly. Andrew?
Well, I didn't hear an expense for the total payroll for that month.
We won't, if it's related to, is it related to the fireworks?
Absolutely, yeah.
No, we've already established that we're gonna provide all the information to our accountant, and they're gonna create a sub-ledger of all the expenses against revenues and everything, so it'll be presented at the next meeting. We won't get into details of it any further. Thank you.
Okay, moving on.
Anything else?
Is there another income statement, Donna?
No, that's all, unless you have questions.
Just from the last meeting, you guys had a follow-up. I'm a community member, and I don't have access to internal emails, but the previous concern, Donna, was how you were accounting for stipends to staff in lieu of the parent liaison position. So has that been changed or reflected on either your cash flow or your income statement?
The family community liaison stipend that we got an item added to the statement. Donna, remember?
Let's look on the income statement here. Let's go back to the income statement.
I guess we added a code, tax code for the stipend.
If you look on page 3 of the income statement for September, under support services salaries, there's a parent liaison stipend for $4,713.
September?
What page are we on?
For September, Donna?
I'm sorry, what now?
For the September.
It's on page 3 of your income statement under classified salaries. About the middle of the page, there's support services salaries. And there's a line for parent liaison stipend.
And so did you guys choose to correct your prior statements to reflect that change as well? Because you were reporting it under a regular position as opposed to a stipend. That decision wasn't made at that time? You were going to follow up with Juanita on whether you're going to go back and correct your statements, or if you were going to leave it as is and report that you're paying this out as a regular salary instead of a stipend?
So Donna, are we correcting the statements and going back and making these corrections of prior statements, or are we going to keep it from September on forward?
Let me look at this real quick while you move up here. All of the stipends that were paid, let's see. Okay, so we reclassed, the first stipend was paid in the August payroll, and we reclassed it from Object 2205, which is your parent liaison, to Object 2275, which is the parent liaison stipend. And then there's the stipend that was paid in the September payroll of $2356.35. So the total of $4713 that's in there, that is the amount of stipends that have been paid year to date for parent liaison stipends.
Thank you, Donna.
All right. Thank you, Donna.
Okay then, have a nice evening.
All right, good night.
Bye-bye.
Are we gonna have a report on the family participation, or we're gonna move on? Okay.
That is noted as item 5.4 of your packet. So family involvement for the kindergarten orientation meeting on August 16th. We have 48 people, not families. We want to make sure we're clear on this. The new family orientation on August 23rd, we had 25 people in attendance. The all-family meeting on August 30th, we have 46 people in attendance. And I'm sorry, it's a little blurry, it has not been here. The Avid Parent Night from September 27th, we have 25 people in attendance. And the lowest in attendance was the Avid Math Night that just happened on October 18th, 19th. We have other events coming up, so we anticipate a higher participation rate. We have by weekly meetings, so bi-monthly, it's bi-monthly, not bi-weekly, we have monthly. Every 2 weeks, we have leadership meetings and we discuss a plan on how we're going to increase family participation. We have provided childcare for these ones with the exception of one of them. It was not provided. We provided as well translation for these meetings. So we'll have an upcoming leadership meeting soon so that we can discuss a way to increase family participation. What we've noticed is that when students are performing, there is a higher participation rate, and when students are not performing, there is a lower participation rate. However, we did conduct 3 surveys, I would say 3, for the math night and the Avid Parent Night, and the satisfaction rate is high. So we get 9s and 10s. Few people that come in, few families, they are happy, they like it, they think it's appropriate, we need to open expectations, and so that is a plus for those that come in and participate in this. So we definitely need to come up with a plan. The next meeting, we'll talk to you about some ideas of how we can increase family participation. I'll also be having a more close communication with the OCC members coming up in November, the 7th, 14th. The 14th, isn't it?
Yes, we moved it.
Oh, the 14th.
Oh, you weren't here, you missed it.
November 14th, the next meeting. So we'll have a discussion then about how to increase family participation. So we're working on this, we're aware. We actually saw this pattern last year and we increased the participation maybe towards the end, but now we want to increase it now instead of waiting until we and we'll continue with the surveys online and paper pencil surveys as well, so that we can get family feedback on the events. Board members, do you have any questions about family participation? Yes, Mike?
Is this based on people who signed
in? Only based on people who signed in. If there were people who did not sign in, we did not account for it.
Okay, because I came to the math night and
You didn't sign in?
I did. I did.
Oh, you did sign in, yeah.
And I definitely saw more than 19 people.
Right. Well, some people might have missed signing in, but we tried to remind everyone to sign in.
Oh,
So
I heard you remind us. It seemed remarkable. There were easily, oh gosh, you pick kids or adults, there were easily 19 of them. It's, sign in.
I have a question. Are we keeping track of hours of parents' participation like we did in the past? Because it was a requirement for us to be part of the community to do 60 hours or 100 hours. But since San Clemente did away with that rule 3 years ago, is anybody keeping tabs on parent hours anymore?
we're not keeping track of families or people who participate, but we do keep track of visitors who sign in and sign out, but we're not keeping track of that anymore.
Was it, I thought if we kept track of the hours that worked as a benefit for us.
It did. There was a grant that we applied for in the past. It was called the Soto grant. And so that was a while back. So that is no longer available.
Okay.
So that there was no need for that. But also, aside from that, after the requirement was no longer applicable,
Right.
and it became voluntary, pure volunteers, if they wanted to or not, we stopped it.
Okay.
Tracked that. So there was no need or use. It was collective labor.
Chris, how many were you able to survey in your survey?
And the one we did last,
Well, I mean, for the Avid night, I don't remember what date that was.
Well, you did your parent satisfaction survey?
On the 27th, I led that one. Every single person filled out a paper one before they left. It was their exit ticket.
So, so the survey participation results you're talking about is from every single event you surveyed parents?
Mm-hmm.
So how do you know if the same parent didn't fill out the same survey twice or 3 times?
we don't know, is anonymous.
So for the Avid math night, it was only online. We didn't have a paper one at that moment.
I've sent it via email.
So how many respondents did you get?
I have not closed the window at this point, but I have 6 responses up to this point.
6.
For the math night.
For the math.
6.
For the parent night, it's all 25.
How many families or parents do you have?
186, 188, that was
So that's kind of an important number to take into consideration when you're doing a survey effort like that. I mean, I do that for a living, so I would definitely say that that representation is not even a sufficient end number. You need at least 10 anywhere. The state doesn't even report information on numbers less than 5. So you're almost at a non-significant, statistically speaking, number.
We would love for parents to fill out more surveys. They just haven't. So they're available to everybody.
They're online, so I'll continue to remind.
I'm just saying, when you speak to the value of the response, being 8s or 9s or 10s, it has less value when you have so few people participating.
Thank you for sharing.
But if she doesn't get people responding, that's what she has, so she can only go off what she has. You know what I mean? So
Which doesn't say much.
But still, those are the ones that
6
responded,
people,
so
that's
that's what
awesome.
she's going off of.
We
you know?
penalize
Like,
her taking the survey if nobody responds?
yeah, it's like she can't help it, so she's gonna go off what she has, you know,
Yeah,
she
she's
can't.
reporting back her numbers.
Yeah,
I think we need to make suggestions, how can the people.
Get, yeah, involved, exactly.
Critiquing or correcting, why don't you do some outreach? Criticize instead of,
Yeah, then we
That's
gotta use email.
Yeah, that's how these
Okay,
meetings
we have some
work.
order.
You point it out, you look at value.
Andrew has his hand up.
That's
Andrew, you have a question?
That's what
You know, I appreciate, and the surveys is a problem. In our charter document, actually, in our charter petition, it says we're supposed to be participating in 3 different surveys. Right now, we currently use SurveyMonkey, where the staff, administration, and input from the OCC survey is created. But per our charter document, we're actually, the government spent millions of dollars to create parent participation surveys on how to improve schools. And I'm sure Juanita's familiar with it. And these surveys, they like literally spend millions. One of them is called the California School Parent Survey. Let's see. And the other one is, it's a student, I can't think of the name. But I would ask you to reference your charter so we're able to provide surveys that we promised our parents, that's in our charter, that we promised LSL. And those are really effective surveys meant to create, to get input from the community to actually be able to implement changes, as opposed to surveys that we just create to ask questions. So in our charter, I urge you to read the document, and that we start to be in compliance with what we promised LSL we would do.
It's part of your LCAP, right? Your survey.
And those 3 surveys are in our charter, and they're specifically designed to promote, to guide us to that. So I'd ask Augustine to help us get on track.
I had a question over here.
Hi, I'm a teacher here at Oasis Charter School. I've been a teacher here for 3 years. I love it here. I think it's an awesome environment. And every day I see everyone from administration to staff to aides working as hard as possible to make sure that our kids are having fun, make sure they're learning. I had an incident last week where a parent came up to me and said, oh, I have something important to tell you. And I'm in the middle of dismissal. And dismissal for me is important because I have to make sure that all my kids are going home safely. So if I have a parent talking to me, I have to set them aside a little bit because I have to make sure that your kids are going home safe. But when a parent is telling me that, oh, well, I have something important to tell you that they're saying on Facebook. And, you know, there's this Facebook page that all these parents talk smack about and they often say what they have to say. It's like, how is that bringing any positive influence to our community?
Right.
What is that doing for our kids? What is that showing our kids? Is it showing them that we can sit behind a computer and just type away and say whatever we want to say, either bring allegations, whether they're true or not? But for the most part, some things that the parents come up with are these crazy allegations that I have no idea where they come from. Because I work here, and I've never heard of half the things that the parents have to tell me. So for me, it's a waste of time. I don't care what parents write on Facebook or what they have to say about my classroom, because they're not in my classroom. And these people who have all this whole, this whole typing that they type away, they type all these comments, they're not in the classroom. And I've never even seen half these people in the school. So for me, it's like, you know what they say, everyone has an opinion, or what do they say, that saying?
That's all important. Don't say it. That's not important.
It's like everyone has an opinion, right? So for me, I don't think it's important for a parent to come up to me and talk to me about Facebook and how our school is being badmouthed, because when that parent is coming up to me, I believe that's a form of cyberbullying, because they're bringing that type of energy into our school. And our school is meant to be creative. It's a small school for big ideas. We try every day in our classroom to try to maximize our lessons, to try to make sure that we are exposing our kids to things that we want them to learn for the future. And as far as the cleaning is not that bad. Yes, my kindergartners aren't going to leave it spotless, but you know what? I have asked some kindergartners. I said, "Do you help at home?" And what do you think their answer is? No, they don't help at home. They don't. And I've asked them, and I've asked them this week. I said, "Raise your hand if you clean the mirror in your bathroom. Raise your hand if you pick up your toys." And it's a very small percentage. So that's what we're trying to teach our kids here. I mean, are they gonna clean up the whole school? Of course not, they're not. But the thing is that they're making their effort, and we as teachers are giving them life tools that they're gonna be able to use outside the school. So the next time a parent comes up to me and talks to me about Facebook and says how there's this Facebook page, I don't have time. I don't have time to log on my computer. I don't have time to log on my computer and go look up and go search and say, oh, this person put this person put this. I want to make sure your kid's going home to wherever that they need to go to. So, was that over than 2 minutes?
Go ahead. Go less 30 seconds. Thank you.
I'm just saying, it's like, let's keep it positive. And I'm hearing a lot of issues. See, so you're part of it too. You're saying you're seeing the Facebook. You're part of it. You're bringing it inside the school. We don't need that here.
You're assuming right there that it's all.
No, you said you went into the Facebook page. You're also right.
I think if you focus your energy on working on your kid a little bit more, you probably have less issues, or you can always leave the school. You got my vote. If you don't like it, you're not bound here. Nobody has a gun to your head. You're more than welcome to go to another school. It seems like you have more of a personal issue that you're holding people up because you want to hear something that you have against somebody else. And this is my first one, and I think this is going to be my last one. And I thank you guys for that.
It's really intense because this is my second one. And the first one, there was a lot of questions that come up because this is kind of the stuff that I do for my job. And they're questions that should be answered by a public school. So it's not against anybody, but we're also held accountable.
But you're always pointing something out.
I'm going to ask you to cut the conversation. Actually, this conversation is probably more appropriate for
it sounds like
OCC
post-traumatic stress
rather
for
than,
being bullied when you guys were
a board
young.
meeting. Thank you. Move on to the next agenda.
Get
item.
over it. Oh, yeah. Boy, I don't think they ever will.
We have one more comment.
Let her
speak.
Oh my God, what are you gonna do? You're gonna want to fight me out
My
there?
name is Margaret Burnside, my second year at Oasis. Up until 2 years ago, I was going to retire. I'm now at Oasis, I'm vested. I love this place, I love my parents, I love my students, I love my administrator, and I love my staff. We all need to work together, that's the best way we can say it. So thank you very much for having me here. Bye.
We love you.
Thank you for the positive energy. Salary schedule. Oh, this could really get negative. We talk about money. And people's checkbooks, checks.
Okay.
Okay.
So, what I have for you, and let me know if you can't hear me in the back, okay? So I can speak louder and use my teacher voice, okay? So what I have for you is the approved salary schedule from 2016 that was approved on May 25th, 2016 for the 16 through 2018 school year. This, when I presented this before and the board approved the salary schedule back then, it was quite a lengthy process where I brought for them information about what other districts were paying, and we can't compare because they're bigger districts. We have to also take that into consideration. And I also had to, how would I put it? Some districts were not included in the survey, like the Carmel district, the Pacific Grove Unified School District. And the reason being is that those districts receive funding, it's called basic ADA. Most of the funding comes from property taxes. So they receive a lot more in a different way. And so that's why they were not included, and I want to make sure that's made clear. Back then I provided to them information about the districts and what those teachers here back at that time would be making if they were to work for any of those districts. For instance, teacher A with 5 years of experience and a master's degree with 45 units would be making X amount here, but would be making X amount somewhere else, and X amount in another district, so that I could give them a comparison of what those people were making somewhere else. Also, what I provided to them was different options for different increases, percentage-wise, 10%, 5%, 9%, so they could consider all the options. What I also did is I provided to the board a 5-year projection. If those same staff members were to stay, remain, what would they be making? How would that look like in our budget for the next 5 years? Taking into consideration STIRS, taking into consideration health benefits, and all of that keeps going up every year. Okay? Just want to give you a little bit of background on how we got there. So what I have for the board now is two proposals, a proposal of, right now it says teacher salary on the back, if you flip the page, 3% going down, 4% across. Okay? You see that? Is everybody there? Okay. So I have this for you. I had a second one, I don't see it, but I think I missed sending it to Erika, so it was my bad, but I'll bring it back the next time. I believe it was 5% down, 4 across. I have collected the salary schedules for 5%. Oh, you have it there? Next one. Gonna make sure is, and they have to say teacher salary schedule proposal. The use and board proposal, okay? Make sure it says use and board proposal. So I have collected the salary schedules from Salinas City, Alisal, Santa Rita, South County, and North County. Those are the most similar or close enough. Okay. Again, I did not include the Carmel Unified School District or Pacific Grove. I want to make that clear. And so, as I collect them, I see that those districts with the shortage of teachers around the state and in the county has impacted our county severely. Those districts are offering up to 19 years of prior teaching experience. degrees and doctorates. And they're offering signing bonuses as well, which we have never offered. And I would recommend to the board to offer signing bonuses. And their salary schedules have been adjusted to reflect change. Now, keep in mind that the one that has been approved has already a 2% increase automatically, so it's called COLA, cost of living increase, okay, adjustment, the A stands for adjustment. So it's already embedded here, okay? The next one has a 3% down for across, which automatically has that 2% cost of living adjustment, COLA, so that it can reflect the needs of the community. It does reflect the needs of the community, as well as I'm trying to be competitive with the local districts. Now, we're never going to be the same. Local districts, their revenue is much higher and it's different. But at the same time, our teachers have to make a decent living wage so that they can remain in this county. Otherwise, they can't afford it. They can't buy a house, they can't buy a car, they can't afford family, they can't send them to college, or save money to send their children to college. So that's the reason why we have, as I see Mike has it on his screen, or you have it on your screen, a 3 and a 5% proposal. This is again for discussion. And it's probably going to take us another 4 or 5 meetings before we decide, but it would have to be, if any adjustments or changes or adoptions to be made, it would have to be sometime by March, so that we can show this in the April financial 18-19, July 1st, the budget, the July 1st budget, it's called the July 1st budget for 18-19, so that it can be a discussion item in April. Again, the public hearing around the same time, to be approved sometime in May, no later than the beginning, the first week of June, because Donna has to submit it to SACS, the state, to the county. So, board members, do you have any questions about how I gather, or how I came up with this and anything like that?
I think we know that, as you mentioned, this is the 4th or 5th time we asked you to do this. Yeah, just to kind of summarize what Juanita said, we kept asking Juanita to go back and rework the numbers because I think the board had a couple concerns. Several years ago, we had a lot of turnover of teachers and staff, and of course, some of the reasons were unrelated to salary or money. But when we asked her to do a kind of an assessment of how we compared to other school districts, other small schools, I mean, we were really very behind. So we made that a major adjustment last year when we passed the new salary schedules for classified and credentialed staff. And we asked her to look at it again because we want to stay competitive. I mean, nowhere in this country are teachers getting paid enough. I think we can all agree on that. We turn our kids over to these precious people for 6 to 8 hours a day, and they're the most underpaid people in this country. I'll use my teacher voice. So we had that concern that we wanted to be competitive, and we also, I mean, you all live in this community. You know what it costs for housing, for a mortgage, for groceries. So I think you know, I mean, that they're not living high off the hog. So we all know what it costs to live in this community. So we wanted to be fair, and we wanted, and we also wanted to, the best way to demonstrate to staff and teachers that we value them is, to put it crudely, money. You know, you can pat them on the back, you can give them all kinds of compliments, you can give them plaques, but I think you know, you show real value when you pay them adequately. So that's been our main, I think, impetus as a board the last 2 to 3 years. And I mean, are we ever going to pay teachers as much as the Carmel Unified District? No. But you know, I'm making $100,000 a year. But we, you know, we want to be fair, and we'll look at this again here, and hopefully if the board has any questions or come back with questions. And I think what you said is that by March we have to kind of pass.
Right. That is correct. And at the next meeting in November, I'll bring to you a comparison of what teachers are making, and for confidentiality reasons, I label it teacher 1, 2, 3, and 4, or A, B, C, and D, so that I could show numbers to everyone. And I'm proposing an 8-year prior teaching experience credit, right now it's 7, and a master's degree stipend for 1,000, and a doctorate for 1,500. We have now a teacher who has a doctorate, so I think it needs to be compensated fairly, and it's nothing for what it costs to get a doctorate. It's nothing. It's really important. And in those numbers, it's going to reflect the $1,000 stipend, which many of our teachers actually have master's degrees. I would say about half of our staff, teaching staff.
And one recently.
And one recently, yes, one recently. We have 2, one from this year and one from in the last year. So, okay, our classified, can we go to the classified real briefly? The classified, the same thing. I brought to you the last time with the 3% down and a $1 across. And the $1 across is earned as you go to college and have a path to an AA or a path to a BA. And then the next page is a 5% instead of a 3%. No particular, actually I compare it also to the classified salaries from the district. They range, they're all over the place. So I couldn't find one that would make sense to us. So what I did is I looked at what they paid for a particular specific position. So for instance, instructional assistant. What would that one make in this district, in this district, and in this district? And then that's how I was coming up with numbers. Now, the minimum salary, the minimum hourly rate, it's $11 per hour. Keep in mind that it's going up. Jennifer McQuarrie, our attorney, our Oasis legal counsel, has reminded us that it's going up, I believe, again in January of 2008. So it keeps going up. So the $11 per hour is probably not going to be enough in a couple of years. We're going to have to adjust it again. So anyway, that's just for your information. Any questions about that? No?
One quick
Yes,
one.
yes, Mike.
And the first one, that's the official.
Procedures?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it doesn't matter. You did it from 2016 to 2018, which was a 2-year span.
Right.
Why don't you save yourself some effort and
Next
make
one.
this one?
For the next year.
For the proposals for the next 2 years?
If it worked
18,
before,
20?
it worked before.
Okay, for a couple of years to have that? Okay, you can definitely do that, yes. Yeah, so that one change, okay. Make a note, so when I bring it back, it's going to say 18 and 20. Okay, well that's it for that. So I didn't ask the public, are there any questions?
Anybody want to cut your salary?
Yes.
I
worked so hard to get this,
Go.
yeah. I think everybody gets a stipend by.
Okay, next item, draft of updated use and bylaw.
Okay, so I sent the draft to you via email. It's still a work in progress. For our legal counsel, the use and bylaws is only for the use and review at this time when they are adopted. I actually provided a copy also electronically to some members that requested that, so that has been provided. Jennifer, Oasis legal counsel, and Lucen's legal counsel said that those are for your review, discussed in the next few meetings as we're making adjustments and changes to the bylaws. Her comments are included in that draft and recommendations for some changes. I sent to you, I sent you
This is the latest one.
this.
I didn't have it.
Oh, then maybe did I miss, maybe I missed. If I missed it, then, did you receive it? No, then I missed it, then okay, then I missed, send it to you.
had before had red. I saw a graph about a month ago. But
Well, no, that's yeah, because I looked at all different computers. Oh, I see, it's not as red as it was, it's sort of purple.
like I've seen a graph, so I haven't seen a graph that's in that comment.
I'll send it to you, I'll send it to you, the one, the draft with Jennifer's comments electronically by tomorrow. Those are Jennifer's comments. Okay, I'm trying to send that, I send that to you.
All right, thank you. Okay, moving on to youth center board, officer nominations, vice president, treasurer, and re-elections of Pete Pryor and Jorge Gonzalez position. This is a discussion item. I think last night we talked about receiving nominations for president and other officer positions, and then of course to re-elect Pete and Jorge. I think the positions are expanding early next year. So let me open it. Do I have any other nominations for officer positions at this time from the board?
I nominate Salinas.
For
President.
Any more nominations for president?
I thought this was a discussion.
Yeah, well, if you don't mind, let us discuss it first. And then open it up.
Okay.
So, any other nominations? President? Okay. Any of the other officers we'll discuss next. Anyone showing interest for any office for next month? And for the vice.
Huh?
Just themselves?
Yeah, you can ask.
Put that on the agenda.
No way. Yes.
Okay, any comments from the public about nominations?
I understood applications were submitted from the public, even if you guys can choose yourselves, but as a consideration that the public has shown interest.
I haven't seen any applications.
Okay, I received one just right now as we were sitting here, so one has been received during this meeting. So
Which one is that?
I will post it on the agenda at the next meeting and you will see it. But it has been received. One application.
Has anyone here applied?
¿Alguien aplicó? ¿A usted aplicó? Ah.
And this is Casey's sheet.
I may be wrong, but the officer positions are from the present board. Is this application to be a board member? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Can you review your bylaws before making those statements? About, you said, can you review your bylaws before saying that it's for current board members only? Obviously, they have to be a member of the board, but I would ask the board to postpone their nominations until, all board seats are filled and the public is, like you said, there seems to be a disconnect of the emails submitted and not, because I have 5 confirmations that they either faxed or emailed, and they send them to me also. So we also have some printed ones. So my recommendation is, when choosing your board, and this is also a recommendation. I'll be quiet about that one. A recommendation to create a committee to help you guys oversee the choosing of a potential board member, so you guys don't just have to be presented with an application. How do you guys filter the applications? Who makes that decision?
That discussion, I think we'll wait when we open up for new board members. Right now on the table, we have nominations for officers.
Oh.
That's what we're talking about. But that's a good point. When we open up, when we have a vacancy on the board, and we can talk about the process for.
Do you have vacancies on the board now?
No. We have, 7, 8 board members.
So you have no vacancies on your board?
So the bylaws call for 7 to 10? 7 to 10? I'm sorry, 5 to 10. 5 to 10. I apologize. 5 to 10. So right now they're doing nominations for officers. That's what they're doing nominations for.
Have you guys voted to not fill those other positions, or would that be considered a vacancy?
No, it's just a range. We don't have to have 10. The range is 5 to 10. That's what's in the bylaw. And I mean, several years ago, we were getting by with 5 for a long time.
But it would be good to reflect or at least acknowledge the interest of parents or community members and also participating in your board. And that's something to consider when you look at what their experiences are or what they may potentially bring. And just from today's meeting, you look at the level of competencies when it comes to evaluating a playground. It was really detailed, it was really involved. I'm not applying, I'm not talking about myself, so don't think that I'm trying to apply, but you would want to reassess that and how well you're able to administer and direct how this public charter school is running. And so at least acknowledge and make a decision that, you know, you see that these people are showing interest, and what sort of plans do you have on changing your current composition or incorporating their input at that level, at the minimum, I would say.
Algo breve, no les voy a quitar mucho tiempo, solamente quería mencionar lo que ella dijo, yo le iba a decir también, que abrieran posiciones para los padres que estamos aquí en Oasis, que tenemos hijos dentro de Oasis, pertenecer a ustedes, a los miembros de la mesa directiva, que se nos dé la oportunidad de estar ahí también. Pienso que tenemos derecho como padres. Ustedes díganme si no, también por supuesto, pero que se abrieran esas posiciones, porque también es necesario que haya padres que estamos involucrados en la educación de nuestros hijos, que sabemos las necesidades académicas, emocionales, incluyen en todo de los niños, ¿ok? Entonces, no hay como los que estamos directamente viniendo seguido a la escuela y mirando las necesidades que hay para la escuela y para los niños. Yo quisiera pedirles de favor que tomaran esto en consideración, de que se abran esas posiciones para nuevos padres, para los padres de aquí de Oasis que pertenezcan a ustedes. Si están en el rango del 7, se puede extender a 10, no se van a sobrepasar.
So was she was saying that she was going to echo what I was expressing. Oh, you let her. Just that she was requesting maybe to open it up for parents to be added on.
¿Por qué no están permitiendo la renovación del board y nada más estás diciendo que vas a reemplazar o hacer reacomodos dentro de los que ya están?
What was the question?
So he wants to know why you're not having any new people being considered right now. Why is it just the same people that are up? So he needs more clarification on how the board works here for your charter.
Well, we don't have a vacancy right now. When we determine the vacancy,
Sir?
when we determine
he asked you in Spanish, maybe you should answer.
There's a translator.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I thought he was talking to him.
when we determine that a vacancy to be filled, then maybe we can initiate that process you're talking about, let's talk about the present process and maybe start a new process. And that may happen next year. You never know, there's turnover at the board too.
And in this case, what they're saying is not to wait for a vacancy, but to consider adding a new board member now. I mean, change happens periodically over time. You have a level of interest. We had 6 people participating in the survey and approximately 5 or 6 wanting to participate on the board, so we've established 6 as a significant number. So you would want to, consider it, I would say maybe now is the time to add, one other person or 2, especially if your parents are. I think everyone that applies is a parent.
That is not...
Way to twist it.
But that's not the question for the board.
That's an expert.
Point well taken on that, but there's an issue that we're discussing and we still have a couple of items that we need to get to.
So will anybody make a motion to add a position to include a parent, or are you unwilling to do that?
That's not what's being discussed right
It's not
now.
what's being discussed. I mean, that has to be put on the agenda to have that discussion.
We're going to email you, Juanita, because if those people are interested.
As a community member, I want to reply to a couple of the questions by these people here. They're trying to say that there aren't parents in the board. If you guys could introduce yourselves and maybe say where you're coming from. That way, obviously, you are some of you guys are parents. I know our administrators are there, teachers are there.
but I know some of your parents as well. So the fact that they're saying that there are no parents
Yeah, I see
on the board,
parents.
I see parents. So I don't see why we need to discuss the fact that there are no parents.
know those parents.
Thank you, sir, but I see, I don't want to get into defending myself, because then we get into debate about, well, how much of a parent are you? I don't know. Because, yeah, there are parents that are here, Oasis, past parents are Oasis kids. But, you know, when you start rebuttaling and you start arguing, I don't know where. So actually, I just want to bring back the issue to the board. Do I have a motion for the nomination of the president? Do I have a nomination? Do I have a motion? Okay, I have a motion to,
No, it's okay. It's an action item.
oh, that's right. Yeah, I got that. Okay, next agenda item is administration. And we have attachment. Does the board have any questions on administrative items?
Sir, I have a question.
Seven items. Have a question?
Well, I noticed that you should not nominate Agustino Tavares as a president. I haven't heard it. He has said the nomination.
Oh, I would love to be part of this.
Well, I haven't heard that.
Yeah, well, because it was a discussion. So once, there's going to be it's an action item further down in the agenda. So, but yes, thank you. I thank you for the nomination.
We got distracted.
I do accept it.
We got, the discussion distracted us. Yeah, he.
Right.
He gladly accepts, right?
All right, any questions on attachment?
On the discussion items, I also have re-elections of Peter Pryor and Jorge Gonzalez. I just want to hear from them if they are interested in being re-elected, to express it now, if it will be on the agenda at the next meeting, or to express if they are no longer interested in continuing, to state that publicly, please. Mr. Gonzalez, keep trying.
Speak now for
What's your
So
interest?
the terms for 2 years, correct?
Yes, the term is for 2 years at this time.
I can see staying on for 2 years. And just to let you guys know, I've been on this, I've been attached to the school for 14 years. I have a 19-year-old son who went 9 years here, K through 9th grade. He's at USF. Mike was a teacher, Jane was a teacher. It's cool. So I add a little variety to the board, so yeah.
You're expressing interest in being re-elected?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Yes, I'm still expressing interest on the board here. I've been here for 14 years, so I'm a parent with 2 kids come and gone. So just want to let you guys know that.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion, did I get a second? Oh, second, okay. A motion to nominate, or to elect Agustin Navarez to president. Oh, I'm sorry. I keep
That was
talking.
still discussion.
Coffee or something, coffee.
Okay, all right, having no questions on the administrative items, moving on to unfinished business. 8.1, okay, finally, you send board president nomination for 2017-2018. We have a motion and a second that the board of directors elect Agustin Navarez for the coming year. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Okay. Well, let me just give some short comments. Been on the board since year 2. Year 2. It's been a pleasure. We've been through some traumatic and low points. We started out on Church Street downtown, and moved there about 6 years ago. 6 years. There were years we didn't know we could make it financially and academically. So unfortunately, we had some boards that really navigated the school through some rough seas. drug plans. Whether it's I guess, fiscal challenges from the state, we weren't always funded so adequately, like in the past 3 or 4 years. There were years that, we had to put in loans to survive, but we did it. And it was a pleasure to be on the board and as the president, and I look forward to the next coming year. So with that, we'll go on to item 2.2, adoption of the anti-nepotism policy. In a motion to recommend that the Houston Board of Directors approve the anti-nepotism policy that we reviewed last time.
Yes, at the last meeting, board members, let me bring it up. At the last meeting, one of the recommendations was to, section A, the proposed employee makes less than $35,000. In speaking with Jennifer, Oasis legal counsel, she recommended that we consider making it $36,500, only because it's a threshold. She said if you were to hire a teacher making $35,000, it's just not going to work. So I said, what's the threshold? She said $36,500. She also said it's going up in January to $40,000 and some dollars and some change. But we can go off of this for now, and it's only $1,500 more. But we can make it 35. That is your choice, your call. I'm just bringing this back to you as a proposal. It's a draft for you to vote on.
Seems like kind of an arbitrary number.
Yeah.
No, it's
an
actually,
action item.
it's not actually, Jennifer said that there's some positions that require you to make at least $36,500, and she gave me the formula. And she said, and I said to her, how did you come up with this? And she said, was this formula moving forward in January? She gave me the formula, and it's like $40,000 some dollars and change. And I can send that to you via email, like I can forward you the formula, so I did not memorize it, so I have to apologize to you. But she gave me the formula, Jennifer, for employment purposes, for some positions. So.
Okay. Any comments from the board?
I have a question.
Okay.
On
Board?
visit,
So these are the two provisions that, so the only two provisions that we're
you mean the provisions, the amount?
So one is if the employee makes less than $36,500,
Right.
they'll be okay. And if they're the most qualified and not displacing any other employee, that'll be okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, correct.
It's not a question, but just, you might want to add sister as another, because it's the only close relative on here. If you haven't already, you might want to add. As a complete description of possible family members. I think there's
Well,
half
it says
sister.
natural step or half sister or brother. I think that's covered.
Okay, that's
Let's see, natural.
Yeah.
step or half, or brother, I would say sister, but totally up to you guys. Be more clear, but.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to understand legally. The lawyer,
Yes, yes.
tell.
The lawyer wrote it with the assistance of an independent auditor firm. Hi.
Oh, you had a question?
I have a comment. In a recent conversation I had with one of your superintendents from Ellisville District that I've known for 17 years, he stated that nepotism is illegal in the state of California. So are we adopting a different law out of the state of California, or how does this work?
This is not a law, this is a policy.
I know, I understand that, but he stated that it's a
This will be reviewed by our legal counsel, so we are in compliance with any laws that are currently in place. So rest assured that Jennifer has reviewed this and more than one, as well as the auditing firm to make sure everything. So I'm what you asked me to do is ratify the law.
I guess the best way I can address your question is, I'm trying, I've got an example in my head. The state passes a lot of laws, and then counties, cities, school districts pass policies that just kind of mirror the law, or enforce the law, or more strict than the law.
But he was actually the superintendent for Alisal Union District for a lot of years. And I told him about this, what's happening here. He was completely shocked. And actually, he gave us some recommendations of where to go. So I'm just saying, look into it before you actually adopt this law, because we're trying to move forward. And right here,
It's a policy. So the entity where I work has a policy like this. It's an interpretation of the law carried out through our policies. So every entity has a policy related to anti-nepotism. So that's what it is. We're not passing the law. It's not the law. But it is a policy, and it's everyone.
Yeah, the cities and counties have anti-nepotism. So I don't know, he understood the question, or?
I think she's alluding to is to the rigor, or how, I mean, if you work at a larger institution, so how does this compare? Are you really, is it extensive enough? Can you really provide assurances that when it comes to supervision and subordinate relationships, that you're addressing that as it is now? Because you do have family members, and you've stated you want to continue being able to have that as an option. So given that, does this policy ensure that that doesn't result in favoritism or, any unbiased promotions or movements into positions that, disproportionately displace the input within the work?
Has there been a problem with that? Is that why it's kind of being drug over and over right now?
Yeah, I think there's been concerns from what I understood.
I know a lot of parents that have a lot of complaints that the principal's sister is working under her, and it's not right. And then there's a lot of parents that are recently finding out, like, oh my gosh, that's her sister. I shared this information with her, and then this is why this is happening. And it's like a circular motion. Like, the trust is not there. If you were to talk to these parents and find out how shocked they were to find out that Meilani is Juanita's sister and that they confided in her, and then things came back to them to bite them. It's a lot, and it's a lot of parents.
That happens with anybody, though, even if you're not related. People talk, and people are going to repeat what other people say.
We can't really discuss issues related to specific personnel.
Right.
Why this is important.
I get it. So we're addressing the issue of anti-nepotism policy. This
Just
is a
watch
draft
what you
that's
say and who
presented
you
to the
talk
board. We're going to look at this, and if the board decides to approve this as a policy, this is where it goes. But thank you for the comments at this point,
And just,
relating to that.
right.
Yeah, so I'd like to just make more, so maybe we change the language of sister, brother to sibling, because to address that it's kind of, I see where it's kind of weird in the language, where it says half sister, but where's
But
the
it
real
fully
sister?
doesn't say half brother.
So maybe.
I'm just thinking if you're telling one person, you're going to tell somebody else, and you're going to tell somebody else. It doesn't necessarily mean that it came from one specific person. And I'm sorry to interrupt again, but we seem to be having it up here too. So if you're going to say something or spot out, at least give me the respect of letting me have my say. It just, wow, this is just amazing. It's just unbelievable, unbelievable. Take these issues up privately, not while we're all here. Take that issue up somewhere else.
I mean, and then, there's history, so I'm going to respect
So
that.
I've had history too. My kids have been here since kindergarten. My son is in 5th grade. You don't think I haven't had it either. But I mean, come on now. It sounds like, I mean, you want to talk about bullying? You're bringing a YouTube camera in here with some guy who calls himself John Doe because he doesn't want to say who his real name is, and we have
on the card, homie.
We talked about it. And then so what do you call that? You know what I mean? Like this, it's garbage. You know what I mean? It's garbage. That's why you get 13 views on your videos, man, and you have them up for 10 years. So come on. This is the guy you bring in here.
But
You want to talk about taping? So what are you trying to really do here?
But taping
You're gonna call and put out, oh, there's gonna be media at the meeting? Come on, media? You're gonna pump it up that much?
I'm not the one, I don't know, I didn't make that statement, but I mean, videotaping is common within schools.
Sorry, you guys, I'm gonna go ahead and keep quiet.
Yeah, well, I need to bring it back to the board. Listen, no, that's what happens when you start bringing up personal.
Right, so if you're gonna bring it up,
And personnel matters that
expect it
are
back.
really illegal in a public forum. But, all right, now bringing it back to the board, what do you want to do with this policy?
How about if we table it? Suggest we table it. So we want to table it if we're changing the word sibling?
Sure, yeah.
Yes, so we word it and bring it back the next one.
That works. Whatever the board decides. It's your
Okay, all right. Is that the consensus of the board?
What other areas are you considering?
You're gonna give him his 14 feet?
We'll just the rewording.
That's pretty good. So the sibling issue, is that we can make that change now? Right.
I want to get to 16.
Yeah, so the language could be natural step or half.
I just wanted to see.
And then sibling.
I was just curious. Sounds good, thanks.
The sister or brother. If that's the interest.
Okay. And are we still going to table it?
No, I'd like to move to approve as is.
Okay.
With the change.
With that change, with that change, yes.
Well, give me a motion.
Like, move to approve the anti-nepotism policy as written with the comments, with a change of, or addition of sibling.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the adoption of the anti-nepotism policy. Recommend that the recent board of directors approve the anti-nepotism policy with the changes that board member Salinas recommended. All those in favor? Say aye. One abstention? Two? Jorge and Pete? Okay, adoption of a contract policy. We had the contract policy, we talked about it last meeting.
There were no changes. There was actually one change that needed to be in alignment, and that was the third bullet down. That amount was, I believe, it was 25,000, and it was not in alignment with the bullet before the last. So that's now in alignment. It's 10,000, and then you look at that other bullet, and then that says 10,000 and 150,000 to ensure cost savings. So that has been adjusted. There was no alignment there, so that has been adjusted.
It's been reviewed.
It's been reviewed by our legal counsel and it has been reviewed by the auditing firm. Yes, both of those entities have reviewed this more than once.
Move to approve the contract policy.
We have a motion to approve the contract policy and the second by Jorge. And so the motion is to approve the contract policy. There's no amendments or changes. So and I have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. All right. Okay, funding allocation for the new play structure.
Okay, so as you know, you already received several proposals, and there's a range, of course, from the high end to the lower end to the high end. The highest I think we've seen so far is close to 100,000, and I know one of them before that I showed you was 108 with installation and cost removal, but if we stay within $100,000 range, I think we can make it happen. We just need to allocate that and add a line item in the budget for that. And also I added potential cost of $20,000 for any required permits at this time. Hopefully it's more than that. I'm keeping my fingers crossed, but the city will really love that. So who knows? I can't predict. I can't tell you what's going to happen because I have to run it by the insurance and by the city, and then everybody reviews it at the city. So who knows? By the time it's all said and done, I'm hoping that's going to be.
So this is an initial allocation. Of course, and if you need additional money, you can always come back and you can augment that?
If necessary, once we approve the design and we know what the cost of permits is going to be. We just need to allocate funding and have a line item in the budget so that we know how the money is going to spend at the end of the day.
Okay, board members, any questions, or you want to raise the ante?
I think that is settled out.
Yeah. So if this is approved, then can we give charge to this committee to move forward with whichever decision that's made there?
That would
Because
be
really,
your call.
if it's gonna come back here, it's just gonna be approval of something that everyone else approved. My recommendation would be, we fund the project and then the committee can select, it doesn't have to come back for, because that's.
Yeah, that was my feeling too, and I was gonna say that, but the reason I didn't say it, I was a little worried about the legalities, because as we know, we're being scrutinized right now, and I want to be legal about all this. Yeah, I'd love to just give it to the committee and say, you pick it, we'll pay for it, but if the board can only approve, these contracts in this amount of money, only the board can according to the bylaws and our new contract policies, then they have to come back to us for that.
Yeah, so what would happen, Juan, is that the committee can decide and select the design and then bring back to you the cost. And then you approve the contract and sign the contract for that. So it would just be your signature and show the public that we selected, the committee selected X or Y or whichever design. And yes.
Just maybe to help move it efficiently, if you guys want to move forward, could you guys maybe just call a special meeting for a vote? That way, in a week or two, the committee decides. You guys can come for 5 minutes, make a public vote, and be done.
Where's this committee at? I don't know if I
It
missed
hasn't
something
been
earlier.
Hasn't been formed.
Oh, I was like, wait a minute, where?
It hasn't been formed yet.
Okay.
Because we don't have money allocated yet.
Oh, okay.
We don't have anything.
Well, we will in about 5 minutes.
I was like, wait a minute, did I miss it?
Okay, another comment? No.
I just remember that when we started this whole, trying to get bids, we had said, and I don't know, if it's still pliable, but that we would bring bids to you, and then Juanita would bring bids, and you guys would make the choice of the top 3 that you're okay with, and then present it, we can do it on Parent Square, vote for your favorite, and then have each classroom put, like they do for the Sharkies, put a little star on their favorite and then go from there, and then everybody gets input on there. And then we already know you guys are gonna approve to pay for it. The ones that have been presented, I'm sure that they presented it with everything that needs to be. That was what we talked about in the beginning.
I want to rely on you, parents of kids. The last time I was on the playground was like 50 years ago. So I have no opinion about playgrounds. I can't remember being a playground.
That's my thing. I don't want to be the deciding, I don't want to decide on the look, if you may. That's just my preference, is to decide on a price that is limit, that can be spent, and then the committee decides which one is chosen, and and everyone has to live with it. So that was my.
That just could be possible, Pat, because we have 3, 4, 5, we have 7 options. So I think we need to narrow it down, but the committee can narrow it down to 3 and then do the process that we discussed before, so that we can pick one and bring it back to the board and say, we picked number 8, and 8 is going to cost blah, blah, blah. Now let's run it with the insurance and see to make sure that we get our permits. And if we need additional funding, we run out of monies, then we come back and say, we run out of monies, we need more. So yeah, that's a perfect vote. 7 or 8 choices, the committee needs to narrow it down.
Okay.
Does that work for you?
So move to approve $100,000 for the structure plus a $20,000 for any required permits for the new police structure from our reserves.
All right. Did I get a second? Okay, second by Jorge. Okay, the motion is to, the USEN Board of Directors approve the allocation of funds for the amount of $100,000 for the structure, plus $20,000 for any required permits for the new play structure from the reserves. All those in favor? Aye. Okay, opposed, okay. Motion passes. Okay, announcements, in about a minute or less, Juanita.
The list, the harvest feast will be on September 16th. November, oh my, going backwards. Oh, yeah, straight. Harvest feast will be on November 16th in the exhibition hall. We're always, we have had it for the past 3 or 4 years. So, at 6:30, that is correct, at 6:30. The 5th graders will be selling hot dogs and pizza. Is that right? Hot dogs and pizza. And other classes will be selling some other things. So come and join us. There's going to be a show of performance. Thanksgiving break will be from November 20th through the 24th. On vacation for the whole week. So 1 week of vacation. And the next meeting will be November 28th at 6:30.
Thank you all, good night.
And thanks for the barbecue, that was killer.